Chapter 429. Ah-2, so you really wanted to save me. I thought you didn't know any better and wanted to bite me. Seeing Ah-2, who was so close to her, Song Wanyu had mixed feelings. She felt very guilty and touched Wang Zhong's stomach. Did I hurt you? Nonsense, I'll slap your stomach and see if it hurts. Wang Zhong complained in his heart. Song Chong said, You hit this dog? Song Wanyu nodded. Yes, I thought it bit me on purpose, so I hit it. Yes, I'll get a doctor to examine Ah-2 later. This dog seems to be really intelligent. Although it's small, it can tell right from wrong. If it hadn't reminded you just now, I'm afraid you would have been smashed by this wall. Song Chong thought for a while, then squatted down and grinned at Wang Zhong. Thank you, puppy. This was the effect Wang Zhong wanted. Although he could eat and drink well every day and live a carefree life as an ordinary pet, this was not the life he wanted. Although he was just an animal, he still needed to be valued. Only then could his life become better. Wang Zhong looked at Song Chong calmly, then was taken away by Song Wanyu to have his injuries checked. After they left, Song Chong and his wife walked back and chatted. Husband, could this dog be our family's Wanyu's lucky monster? The woman lowered her voice. Although the Song family was strong, they were not as united as an iron board. In the world of cultivation, everyone wanted to climb up in order to get the best cultivation resources in the family. Therefore, the husband and wife would not let others know about their daughter, so as not to disturb their daughter's luck. There was a reason for all of this. Song Chong frowned and thought about the woman's words. He thought for a while and said, That dog is indeed amazing. It saved our daughter at such a young age, but it's still too early to say that it's our daughter's luck. Why do you say that? I used my spirit chi to observe the dog just now. There was no fluctuation of demonic aura. So it's not a monster. That's right. The ancestor said that our daughter's fortune is a monster. Since that dog isn't a monster, it's just an ordinary dog that knows how to behave. Song Chong thought for a while and continued, But no matter what, he did save our daughter. Later, get the servants to cook a bowl of braised pork and bring it to him. Oh, got it. There's one more important thing. You can't tell anyone about the fact that your daughter has a monster as her blessing. Of course I know that. Back then, after the old ancestor performed the divination, he said that the matters of the divination must not be told to anyone. Otherwise, the divination will disappear. At that time, not only will our daughter not have good fortune, but she will also have bad fortune, the woman said solemnly. That's right. Not only can other people not know, even our daughter can't know. Don't mention this matter in the future. Yes. Wang Zhong was examined by the doctor. Naturally, there was nothing wrong with it. However, the doctor looked at it strangely. He told Song Wanyu several times that it was not a dog, but more like a fox. At that time, Song Wanyu mocked him, Old man, are you old and blind? This dog was born from my old bitch's litter. Although it looks strange, it's a genuine puppy. I see. The doctor smiled awkwardly, wondering if he had seen wrongly. Although Miss Song Wanyu was young, she wouldn't lie to him for no reason, right? When they returned, the servants brought the braised pork. Little Hay and its cubs were stunned. They looked at the big bowl of braised pork in front of them with envy. Ah-2, thank you for saving me today. Mother said that this is for you. Song Wanyu pushed the braised pork in front of Wang Zhong. The braised pork was indeed very fragrant. Wang Zhong ate a few mouthfuls. Song Wanyu was very satisfied. She patted Wang Zhong's back and said, Then you eat. I have to go into the house and practice the training of qi. Wang Zhong's eyes lit up. After a few days of cultivation, he knew that although humans and demons had different ways of cultivation, this difference was mostly in the later stages. In the early stages, everyone was similar. They all needed to practice qi. Therefore, he guessed that he could use the training of qi too. After Song Wanyu entered the house, Wang Zhong thought about how to learn the training of qi. Brother Ah-2, you're really good. I heard from the maids that you saved the young miss. Little Hay looked at him enviously, then looked at the unfinished braised pork in surprise. It's okay. It's really a coincidence. Mother Dog, if you're hungry, you can eat this braised pork, Wang Zhong said generously. How can I accept this? Although Little Hay said that, he couldn't help but walk over. Wang Zhong was happy. Although the mother dog was a bit gluttonous, she was a nice person. It's okay. I'm full. You can eat, Wang Zhong said again. Cough, cough. Then I won't stand on ceremony. After Little Hay said that, he couldn't wait to eat. While the dogs were eating, Wang Zhong walked to the door of Song Wanyu's house. Song Wanyu's clear voice could be heard from inside the house. The way of training energy is to transform one's energy into a myriad of forms. The stronger the energy, the stronger the person. Wang Zhong listened with great interest as he stood at the door. However, the sounds from inside quickly died down. Wang Zhong was slightly stunned. Why did she suddenly stop reading? At this time, the door suddenly opened. Song Wanyu's little head popped out. She looked at Wang Zhong, who was squatting on the ground, and smiled. I was wondering why there was a smell at my door. You've been squatting here. Wang Zhong was stunned. She suddenly popped her head out and gave him a fright. At this moment, Wang Zhong also realized that the fox odor on his body was troublesome. Woo woo, Wang Zhong called out. After thinking for a while, Wang Zhong made up his mind and ran in. Hey, you little fox. You're quite brave. Why did you come to my room? Song Wanyu walked in surprise. Wang Zhong came in so boldly because he had just saved Song Wanyu. Therefore, no matter how cruel Song Wanyu was, she wouldn't blame him, right? Therefore, he jumped lightly and climbed onto Song Wanyu's stool. From this position, he could see the book on the table. Wang Zhong looked at the book curiously. Song Wanyu was happy. You've been staying at my door. Don't tell me you've been listening to me reading? You little fox like to read. At this point, Song Wanyu decided to give it a try. She closed the door, picked up the book, and sat on the floor. At this time, Wang Zhong also jumped down and squatted beside Song Wanyu to read. The content of the book was indeed very profound. According to the qi refinement method in the book, Wang Zhong felt that the qi refinement in his body had become much better after a short while. Ah too, can a puppy like you understand this? Song Wanyu found it amusing when she saw Wang Zhong being so serious. Seeing Wang Zhong being so obedient, she couldn't bear to chase Wang Zhong away. Therefore, she started reading with Wang Zhong. In general, the language of this world was similar to the Chinese language. Therefore, Wang Zhong didn't find it difficult to read. At night, when Song Wanyu came back from dinner, she was surprised to find Wang Zhong still reading in the room. In fact, after she left, Wang Zhong didn't just read this book. He also flipped through the other books on the table. Through some of the books, he also understood some of the local customs of this world. Song Wanyu carried a bowl of red braised pork and put it on the floor. Eat. Wang Zhong ate the red braised pork. Although this position wasn't very good, it couldn't be helped. After all, it was a fox now. After a while, the servants brought in a bathtub and began to prepare water for Song Wanyu. Children from rich families were indeed comfortable. There were servants to take care of their basic necessities. Wang Zhong was about to go out to avoid suspicion when the servants closed the door. At this time, Song Wanyu was also about to go into the water. Wang Zhong was a little surprised. Why wasn't it allowed to go out? Miss, this dog seems to want to go out, a servant said to Song Wanyu when he saw Wang Zhong at the door. Song Wanyu looked back and said, maybe it's afraid of water. Speaking of which, this dog smells worse than the other dogs. Let's give it a bath later. Yes. When Wang Zhong heard this, he felt that it was a good idea. After all, he was a human. After being a dog, oh no, a fox for so long, he had never taken a bath. If he could take a bath, of course, it would be great. Seeing Song Wanyu enter the water, Wang Zhong couldn't help but sigh. This dog was quite good-looking. At such a young age, she was already. What am I thinking? After Song Wanyu finished bathing, the servants brought in a small basin. Before they could carry Wang Zhong took the initiative to go into the water. This dog is so sensible. It actually went into the water by itself. The servants were surprised. So it's not afraid of water. Song Wanyu also expressed that after raising dogs for so long, this was the first time she had met a dog like Wang Zhong. In the following days, every time Song Wanyu took a bath, Wang Zhong would squeeze in. The servants would also prepare a basin for it. Over time, the servants got used to it. As a result, Wang Zhong became bolder. As a fox with a fox's body, Wang Zhong was no longer satisfied with the status quo. At night, he would always find a way to squeeze into Song Wanyu's room. Several times, Song Wanyu found that her room door was opened in the middle of the night. She originally thought that someone had entered the room, but when she took a closer look, it turned out to be Wang Zhong, the dog. Song Wanyu smiled. She understood that Wang Zhong might want to sleep in the room. Some pets had this personality. Not only dogs, but even cats had the habit of squeezing in the same bed with their owners. Wang Zhong didn't want to sleep with Song Wanyu. He just wanted to find a clean place to live. Seeing that Wang Zhong wanted to squeeze in so much, the kind-hearted Song Wanyu let him do as he pleased. Just like that, Wang Zhong and Song Wanyu began their shameless life. Spring went and winter came. In the blink of an eye, a year had passed. Song Wanyu was now 9 years old. Now, Wang Zhong basically followed her wherever she went. In the eyes of outsiders, Wang Zhong had become a loyal dog. Only Wang Zhong himself knew that he wasn't following Song Wanyu out of loyalty. He was following her for benefits. Following Song Wanyu, not only could he learn from her, but she would also reward him when she ate something good. Sister Wanyu, you're practicing. On this day, Song Wanyu was practicing again. A loud voice rang out. Wang Zhong turned around curiously. The person who came was elegant. He looked to be around 13 or 14 years old, but he was already very tall. Wang Zhong had met this person once before. His name was Song Xian. Although his surname was Song and he was the son of the Song family's head's younger brother, he was actually adopted. Song Xian's parents died when he was young. Later, he was brought to the Song family to work as a child laborer. He was bullied from a young age and had to do the dirtiest and heaviest work. He didn't expect to be picked up by Song Chong's younger brother, Song Mingzhu, when he was practicing alone. He discovered that Song Xian was quite talented and adopted him. Just like that, Song Xian's status skyrocketed and he became a rare talent in the Song family. Wait, why does this background sound like the main character? Wang Zhong was shocked when he heard about Song Xian's achievements. In this cruel era, very few people could break through their shackles and achieve meteoric success at such a young age. But Song Xian did it. Brother Song Xian. Song Wanyu nodded respectfully when she saw him and continued practicing. It's almost time for the 10-years-old tournament. I have to practice hard. I've been traveling recently and learned a palm technique from a good friend. I think it suits you. Do you want to learn it? Song Xian asked. Chapter 430. What palm technique is that? Song Wanyu's eyes lit up. Watch. Song Xian stretched out his hand and said, "This is called the blazing palm." Wang Zhong stared at Song Xian intently. He saw a surge of spiritual energy surge from Song Xian's body. At the same time, he felt a burning sensation. This surge of energy was very strong. A strong gust of wind surged out along with the wind from his palm. This is a fire elemental technique. Not only is the wind from the palm powerful, but it can also quickly burn the opponent. Its power is astonishing, Song Xian said calmly. It is indeed very powerful. Song Wanyu was surprised. Song Xian took out the technique and handed it to her. He smiled like a spring breeze and said, "Sister Wanyu, cultivate well. I'll take my leave first." "Thank you, brother Song Xian." Seeing Song Xian leave, Wang Zhong couldn't help but sigh. This man couldn't be interested in Song Wanyu, right? At noon, Song Wanyu was eating. As she ate, she muttered to Wang Zhong, "Little doggy, what do you think of brother Song Xian? Why is he so nice to me?" These days, Song Xian had asked people to bring her spirit herbs, spirit medicines, and cultivation techniques from time to time. He was the epitome of a good boy. Even Wang Zhong was envious when he saw this. Therefore, he had a good impression of Song Xian. However, Wang Zhong naturally wouldn't say anything at this time. He just looked at Song Wanyu innocently. Song Xian had returned for a few days and seemed to have left the Song family again. Song Wanyu was about to face her own competition. Her opponents were a few men of similar age in the Song family. Her third uncle's eldest son, Song Long, was the strongest. However, Song Long had a flaw. He was arrogant and domineering. It was said that he had caused a lot of trouble outside and had even bullied Song Wanyu. Originally, everyone thought that Song Long would have the upper hand in this Song family competition. They didn't expect Song Wanyu to emerge victorious. Her victory was straightforward. She used the blazing palm to deal with Song Long. Song Long used an ice elemental technique, so a fire elemental technique was the perfect counter. Seeing this scene, Wang Zhong was shocked. He immediately thought back to when Song Xian had gifted him a cultivation technique. Could it be that Song Xian had planned for this day to come and gave Song Wanyu a fire-type technique to deal with the enemy? Song Long, who had lost, was so angry that he shouted loudly. He covered his burned right hand and shouted, "Song Wanyu, when did you cultivate the fire element?" If Song Long knew that Song Wanyu cultivated a fire elemental cultivation method, he would definitely use a water elemental cultivation method to restrain Song Wanyu. "I'm not telling you, ha ha ha." Song Wanyu made a face. Song Wanyu didn't like this brother who always bullied her. "Humph, just wait and see. I was careless this time, but it doesn't mean that I've really lost," Song Long said ruthlessly and got off the stage. When he arrived at the foot of the stage, Song Long happened to see Wang Zhong squatting under a tree. He immediately recognized that Wang Zhong was Song Wanyu's dog. He became even angrier. He kicked Wang Zhong and shouted, "A good dog doesn't block the way." Wang Zhong had noticed that Song Long was looking at him strangely, so he had been vigilant. When he saw Song Long kicking him, Wang Zhong reacted quickly and jumped onto a tree. "Oh, you dodged pretty fast." Song Long couldn't beat his master, Song Wanyu, and he couldn't beat his dog, Wang Zhong. One could imagine how unhappy he was. Ice-breaking fist. Song Long gave a light roar as he charged towards Wang Zhong, who was on the tree. "What the hell? This guy is crazy." Wang Zhong dodged again and jumped to a higher place. Bang! The wind from the punch hit the tree trunk Wang Zhong was standing on. In an instant, the tree trunk quickly froze. Wang Zhong narrowed his eyes. If he was hit, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Of course, he could defend himself. However, if he did that, his strength would be exposed in front of everyone. When that happened, the fact that he was a monster would most likely be exposed. "You dodged pretty fast. I'll teach you a lesson, you beast." Song Long was about to hit again. Fortunately, Song Wanyu ran over in time. "Song Long, what are you doing?" "Sister, your wild dog is disobedient. I'm teaching it a lesson for you," Song Long said with a sneer. "What did my dog do to you? It's blocking my way. It deserves to die." Song Long shouted domineeringly. "How can you do that?" Song Wanyu walked to the tree angrily. Wang Zhong jumped down and bared his teeth at Song Long. "Oh, how dare you be so fierce to me? Sister, look, this beast is outrageous. It needs to be taught a lesson." "How dare you? This is my dog. If you dare hit it, I'll fight you to the death." Song Wanyu raised her fist and refused to back down. The commotion quickly attracted the attention of some of the higher-ups of the Song family. "What happened?" Song Chung, the head of the family, flew over. "Father, Song Long bullied my dog." Song Wanyu immediately complained and told her father what happened. "Uncle, this is just a beast. I saw that this beast was disobedient, so I taught it a lesson for my sister. Although Song Long was explaining, his tone was still domineering. He continued, "Since my sister likes this bastard dog, I'll let it go. I'll go back and recuperate. Goodbye." Song Long turned around and left. From this scene, it could be seen that the Song family was harmonious on the surface. Everyone was led by Song Chong. However, in reality, there were already undercurrents surging in the family. "Father, that Song Long is outrageous. Not only did he bully my dog, but he didn't even take you seriously." Back in her own yard, Song Wanyu was still angry. She checked Wang Zhong's injuries as she spoke. Wang Zhong had been checked thoroughly, causing him to feel embarrassed. In the end, he realized that it was fortunate that nothing had happened. Song Long's personality has been like this since he was young. Don't provoke him in the future. Why? Song Wanyu said angrily, "I deserve to be bullied by him." That's not what I mean. Song Long has been chosen by the ancestors' Cloud Energy Clan. He will go to the Cloud Energy Clan in the future. So, don't provoke him now. Wang Zhong understood. In the end, the world respected the strong. No matter how bad Song Long's attitude was or how arrogant he was, it didn't matter as long as he had the strength. "I understand, father." Although Song Wanyu was not happy, there was nothing she could do. Suddenly, she raised her head and said in surprise, "But father, this dog is very powerful." It dodged Song Long's 2 attacks. "Oh." Song Chong stared at Wang Zhong again. Suddenly, Wang Zhong felt a weak surge of spiritual energy. He knew that Song Chong was checking if there was any demonic aura on him. After checking for a long time, there was no demonic aura fluctuation. Song Chong couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He blamed everything that happened to Wang Zhong before on Wang Zhong's fast movements. Suddenly, Song Wanyu asked curiously, "Father, do you think this dog can learn demonic arts?" Song Chong was slightly stunned. Then, he laughed involuntarily. "Daughter, do you think an animal can learn demonic arts and become a monster? Isn't it? Of course not. Demons have spiritual roots since they were young. Generally, demons have inheritance. This kind of inheritance will be opened in the memory of a certain period of time. It's not like you don't know that our little black's ancestors were all crossbreed dogs for 3 generations. They have nothing to do with demons." "Oh, I see." Song Wanyu was a little disappointed. In the past, when she saw Wang Zhong studying beside her, she really had a feeling that Wang Zhong was really learning. Now, it seemed that it was an illusion. The father and daughter chatted for a while, mostly about cultivation. After they were done, Song Wanyu said, "Father, in a few days, I will go to the forest with Sister Tian and the others to pick herbs. I want to go and play." As Song Chong's daughter, Song Wanyu was usually very strict. Basically, she was not allowed to go out casually. However, now that Song Wanyu had grown up, no matter how much she spoiled her child, the child would have to face society in the future. Therefore, Song Chong said, "When Tian goes out, does she bring a guard with her?" "Of course. Sister Tian has a guard every time she goes out." "That's good. But don't go too deep into the forest, okay?" Recently, several families in several villages near the forest have reported that their children have gone missing. Missing? Could it be that they want to play and got lost in the forest? That's not very likely. Those children follow their parents to pick herbs or hunt in the forest all year round. In the past, there were very few cases of missing children. But in the past few months, there have been more than 10 cases. Almost every village has children going missing. After Song Chong finished speaking, he warned, "So, you have to be careful. Don't run around." "I know. Sister Tian has a guard. There's nothing to be afraid of." This Tian had come to play with Song Wanyu in the past, so Wang Zhong knew her. Her family was not as big as the Song family, but it was not bad. Because they were all from big families, some of the children from both sides were quite close. At night, Wang Zhong did not enter Song Wanyu's room tonight. Instead, He quietly went to her backyard alone. The backyard was remote. Many flowers and trees were planted there. The environment was dark, and not many people came here. Looking up, Wang Zhong looked at the crescent moon in the sky. The majestic demon aura in his body was like a gust of wind, spinning. Wang Zhong's fox lips curved into a faint smile. After these days of cultivation, he realized that demon aura was not very difficult to cultivate. Although the mother dog also cultivated, she only cultivated the most basic human language. As for him, he did not know how strong he was now, but based on the comparison of Song Wanyu's strength and his own, he was clearly stronger than Song Wanyu. For example, these days, he had been in the state of qi refinement. Suddenly, he felt that qi was about to burst out of his body. According to what he learned from Song Wanyu, once he had this feeling, it meant that he was about to advance. At that time, his aura would surge, and his demon aura would soar to the sky. Wang Zhong knew that he was about to advance. At this moment, he did not feel any excitement. Instead, he felt a little sad. The demon aura in his body was too strong. He was worried that once he advanced, the demon aura would rush out of his body and be discovered. No, he would definitely be discovered. What to do, what to do? Most importantly, he did not know how to advance. Chapter 431. The demonic arts that Wang Zhong was currently cultivating were all based on what Song Wanyu had learned and combined with the actual situation in his body. It would not be a problem for him to cultivate it casually. However, he was now advancing, so it was very difficult for Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong took a deep breath. In his mind, he immediately thought of what Song Chong had said to Song Wanyu that day. Demons have spiritual roots since young. Generally, demons have inheritances. These inheritances will be unlocked in their memories at a certain time. I'm obviously not an ordinary demon. Why hasn't my inheritance been unlocked in my memories? Wang Zhong could not figure it out, but now was not the time to think about it. He could no longer hide the demonic aura in his body. After thinking about it, he looked up at the wall and jumped over it. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A small and nimble figure quickly ran on the roofs of the ordinary houses in the village. Wang Zhong finally arrived at the outskirts. The demonic aura could no longer be held back and gushed out of his mouth and nose. This is demonic aura. Wang Zhong was very curious. In the past, when he used demonic aura to exchange moves, the demonic aura would turn into moves. Now, it was purely an advancement. The demonic aura was no longer hidden. The soaring demonic aura was like a dark cloud above his head. Now, I can be considered a small demon. As the demonic aura surged in the sky, Wang Zhong felt that the demonic aura in his body was being compressed. According to the advancement method of humans, I should be at the foundation establishment next. What should I do? Although Wang Zhong did not know much about advancement, it was not a problem. To him, it was just the initial stage of advancement. The initial stage was usually very simple. He just had to let nature take its course. When he thought of this, Wang Zhong subconsciously retracted his thoughts. He focused on sensing his demonic aura and the aura in his body. After some time, he felt the demonic aura gradually returning to his brain. When he reacted, he found that there was an additional round thing in his head. What's this? He realized that things might not be that simple. After thinking about it, he immediately realized that this could be the demonic pill. The Yao core was the symbol of a monster's strength. The stronger the monster, the bigger the Yao core. However, this did not mean that every monster had one. Ordinary monsters were not qualified to condense a monster core. But now, not only did he have a monster core, it was so simple and easy. What the hell am I? How can I be so powerful? Wang Zhong couldn't help but admire himself. At this moment, he understood what the mission information meant when it said, "I'm obviously very talented in cultivation." His talent for cultivation was actually very strong. The reason why the original owner, Ah-Tu, had been struggling at death's door was probably because he didn't have the chance. He had been hiding in the Song family all this time and didn't know how to obtain cultivation methods. Perhaps this was the reason. As the demon core suddenly appeared in his mind, the demon chi in the sky quickly gathered. Wang Zhong was surprised to find that the demonic chi had entered his Yao Dan. The originally small Yao Dan seemed to have grown a little bigger. Then, the surrounding environment quieted down again. Sensing his own strength, the demonic chi that was originally gushing out from his abdomen was now gushing out directly from the demonic core in his mind. The demonic chi was denser and more domineering. Just like before, the demonic chi would not spread unless it was used very strongly. It was as if there was a mysterious force suppressing the demonic chi from spreading. I've broken through? After checking back and forth for a long time and making sure that there was nothing wrong with his body, Wang Zhong breathed a sigh of relief. After spending so much time, he should have broken through. After being dazed for a while, Wang Zhong's lips finally curled into an excited smile. How long had it been since he started cultivating? He had already surpassed Song Wanyu. Such talent should be considered excellent in the world, right? The sky gradually brightened. With a shift of his body, Wang Zhong leapt back the way he had come. Song Wanyu was awakened by the urge to pee. She got up and ran to the spittoon to pee. She was surprised to find that Wang Zhong was not in the room. During this time, she had gotten used to having Wang Zhong by her side, so she was very confused and didn't know where Wang Zhong went. Atu, where did you go? Seeing that the door was ajar, Song Wanyu realized that Wang Zhong had sneaked out in the middle of the night last night. So she went out to look for him. However, she searched Blackie's nest and the backyard, but found nothing. For a moment, Song Wanyu was a little anxious. During this time, she had treated Wang Zhong, the dog, as her good friend and partner. But now, he had suddenly disappeared. She immediately thought of Song Long. She had a conflict with Song Long, and Song Long had said that he wanted to beat Atu. Could Atu have been captured and killed by Song Long? For a moment, Song Wanyu was so anxious that she was about to cry. Whoosh! Whoosh! At this time, Wang Zhong appeared on the wall. Atu! Seeing Wang Zhong, Song Wanyu was overjoyed and hugged Wang Zhong in her arms. I'm going to be bored to death. Wang Zhong was a little overwhelmed by Song Wanyu's gentleness. Back in the house, Song Wanyu held Wang Zhong's forelimbs and asked, "Where did you go?" Wang Zhong bared his teeth, indicating that he had no comment. He's so young. He shouldn't be in heat. Song Wanyu also knew that small animals would run around when they were in heat. But Wang Zhong was still very young. But soon, Song Wanyu found that something was wrong. Because she found that Wang Zhong seemed to have grown bigger. It was not difficult to carry him in the past, but now he was a little heavier, especially his size. He was really big. Maybe he really did find a female puppy, Song Wanyu muttered. Song Wanyu muttered. She didn't take Wang Zhong's running around to heart. 3 days later, Tian and the other 3 girls came to find Song Wanyu. The 5 girls said that they were going to pick herbs, but they were actually going to play in the forest. Wanyu, what are you packing at home? Why are you still here? Seeing that Song Wanyu had not come out, Tian walked in. I brought some food. We don't have to go home at noon. Song Wanyu spread out a piece of cloth in the room and put pastries, pancakes, and some fruits inside. Why is this dog lying here all the time? Tian lowered her head curiously and stared at Wang Cheng. Seeing this, Wang Cheng felt embarrassed, so he grinned at Tian. How dare you yell at me? Tian slapped Wang Cheng's head. Wang Cheng dodged, feeling a little helpless. Why is this girl like a fool? I don't want to play with fools. Wanyu, your dog dodges quite quickly. Tian smiled and said, It's quite cute, but it looks a little rustic. What kind of breed is it? It's so small, and its penis is not big. Don't hit it. It's very good. It even saved me. Really? Of course. Song Wanyu told her about the collapse of the wall as she packed. If Ashura hadn't pulled me, I'm afraid I would have been killed. That's amazing. Everyone liked sensible little animals. The more Tian looked at Wang Cheng, the more she liked it. Wan Yu, you have so many dogs anyway. Give this dog to me. No. Unexpectedly, Song Wan Yu shook her head. I have many dogs outside. You can take whichever one you like. But I won't give Blackie and Ashura to you. Okay then. By the way, let's take it with us when we go out to play this time. Tian Tian smiled and said, There are many wild rabbits in the forest. Your dog can catch them. This dog probably can't outrun the rabbits. Although Song Wan Yu said so, she still decided to take Wang Zhong with her. Wang Zhong also wanted to go out and have a look. He thought that when he stabilized his foundation, it would be time to leave this place. When that time came, he would be free to fly in the sky and fish in the sea. Candied haws, selling candied haws. Little mudman, little girl, this little mudman is not only edible, but also very beautiful. Do you want it? Fried tofu, who wants fried tofu? A few girls walked to the bustling street, looking here and there. They were all very curious. Wang Zhong followed behind, thinking that it was a close call. Originally, Tian Tian said that dogs should be led out with a leash. Otherwise, the dog would easily run away when it was frightened. At that time, Wang Zhong barked at Tian Tian a few times. In the end, when he saw them coming over with a leash, he ran away. In the end, he avoided the fate of being led by a leash. It's so hard to be a dog. When they gave up on the leash for him, Wang Zhong looked up to the sky and sighed. Walking on the street, Song Wan Yu was originally worried that Wang Zhong would run away. However, after walking for a while, she found that Wang Zhong was very smart and was following her. She gradually felt relieved. Wan Yu, your dog is so smart. Yes, my dog is so stupid. It can't walk when it sees the roadside snacks. In the face of the praise of her friends, Song Wan Yu smiled and said, Of course, this dog saved my life. Doggy, here's a piece of meat for you. Tian Tian bought a roasted chicken leg by the roadside. She tore a small piece of meat and threw it on the ground. The place happened to be dirty, and there was a mouthful of thick phlegm on the side. Wang Zhong was furious. You really treat me like a dog. Therefore, he didn't even look at it and walked away. The group of girls was dumbfounded. Wan Yu, your dog doesn't like to eat meat? Tian Tian asked curiously. Song Wan Yu said proudly, You don't know this, do you? A2 is very obedient. It won't eat the food in its bowl. In the past, when I casually threw it on the ground, it just wouldn't eat it. Wow, it's quite a character. You've lived a long time to see it. It's not a dog. It's a monster, right? Although Tian Tian said so, it was actually just a joke. A true monster would have demonic aura on its body, but Wang Zhong didn't have any. The group walked out of the village and came to the forest. In addition to the girls, there were 2 guards behind them. According to Wang Zhong's understanding, one of the 2 guards was at the lower level of the Foundation Establishment realm, and the other was at the peak of the Qi Refinement realm. Such strength was considered to be quite good among the guards in this small village. You two, just wait here. We have something to talk about inside, so you don't have to follow us. Once they arrived, Tian Tian turned around and ordered her 2 guards. Chapter 432. The 2 guards looked at each other in dismay. The Foundation Establishment guard said worriedly, Young mistress, there are many beasts in the forest. It's too dangerous. Let's just follow them. Yes, Master ordered us to follow them. Otherwise my ass. We girls are just talking about women. Are you going to listen to us? Tian Tian yelled. Wang Zhong, who was squatting on the ground, rolled his eyes. Why did all the young mistresses from rich families have the same problem? They did not want to use the guards and insisted on chasing them away. The 2 guards did not know what to do after hearing Tian Tian's words. How about this? Stay 20 meters away from us. That way, we'll be within your sight. If there's any danger, you'll be able to save us immediately. What do you think? Song Wan Yu said. Yes. Young Mistress Song. The two guards cupped their fists together. After they left, Tian said excitedly, "Those two annoying people are finally gone." "Big sister Tian, why did you chase them away?" A pretty girl next to her was curious. "I have something to tell you. To be honest, I'm going to be betrothed to someone when I was a child," Tian said dejectedly. "Ah." Song Wanyu was shocked. "Congratulations, big sister Tian. What are you congratulating me for?" Tian looked gloomy. "The man I'm betrothed to is too ugly." "Who is he?" Song Wanyu asked. "He's the heir of a family in the border town. His name is Huang Feitian." "That's a good name," Song Wanyu said affirmatively. "It's a good name. He also has a nickname. Yellow Pockmarks." Song Wanyu. The girls next to them were also suspicious. "That person is very ugly. His face is full of pockmarks." "All right." Song Wanyu looked at Tian sympathetically. She did not know what to say. "It's useless for you to ask us to come out." Yes. Song Wanyu said, "Big sister Tian, are you planning something?" "I've thought about it. In the end, my parents arranged this so-called betrothal for me because my talent was average, so I was going to be married off as a chess piece. Since that's the case, my future happiness will depend on myself. I want to leave home and go to those big sects to learn from them." Tian finished in one breath and sighed, "This time, I'm here to bid farewell to my sisters." Everyone was stunned, including Wang Zhong. Who would have thought that this woman would be so decisive to leave just like that? "No, if you leave now, your parents will blame us," a child from a small family said anxiously. Tian smiled and said, "Don't worry, I'm not leaving today. Let's have fun today. After a few days, I'll take advantage of the night and leave. Maybe one day in the future, I'll learn a supreme cultivation technique and come back to find you. Big sister Tian, it's very dangerous outside. Have you really decided to do this?" Song Wanyu said worriedly, "If you're in any danger, then—" Tian interrupted Song Wanyu and said, "I'm older than all of you. I know the dangers of the outside world better. To be honest, I'm scared too. I'm worried that I'll be in danger if I leave this place. But compared to living a life of darkness at home, I'd rather go out and explore. Even if I die, it's better than this." Sigh. The girls lowered their heads and fell silent. "Let's go. There are some herbs over there. Let's go." Tian didn't want to talk about unhappy things and walked deeper into the forest. Wang Zhong walked in the forest and suddenly realized that there were quite a lot of herbs in the forest. Although the herbs here were different from the ones in the previous world, his sense of smell was very sharp now, so he could still distinguish the smell of the herbs. Song Wanyu and Tian were quite knowledgeable about these herbs, so they began to pick them. "Big sister Tian, if you really want to leave, you can take these herbs later. This way, they'll be of some help to you when you're alone outside," Song Wanyu said as she spoke. "Okay. Thank you, sisters. Let's go a little deeper. The last time I came here with my father, we found many aged herbs at the edge of a cliff over there," a girl reminded. Tian looked behind her and saw that the two guards were following her seriously. So she nodded and said, "Then let's go." No one had any objections. Wang Zhong sniffed around vigilantly. After finding that there were no problems, he was relieved and followed them. The forest was getting denser, but the girls weren't worried. They had been to this area before. There were indeed wild beasts, but they weren't children anymore. With their means, they weren't worried. They came to the edge of the cliff. As expected, there were many herbs here, and they were all of good quality. While they were working, Wang Zhong walked around and familiarized himself with the surroundings. At this time, he suddenly realized a very important problem. The spirit qi in the forest was much denser than in the Song family. Sure enough, different places have different spirit qi. Wang Zhong suddenly felt like staying here. Glancing at Song Wanyu, who was having fun not far away, Wang Zhong sighed inwardly. It's time to say goodbye. However, at this time, a strong medicinal fragrance suddenly came from afar. The medicinal fragrance was very strong. In an instant, not only him, but Song Wanyu, Tian Tian, and the other girls also smelled it. It smells so good. Tian Tian's eyes lit up. I heard from my grandfather that if a strange fragrance suddenly appears in the deep mountains, it means that some kind of divine medicine might be born. If we can get it, it wouldn't be strange for us to have 10 years of cultivation. Yeah, I heard about it too, a girl next to her said. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go and have a look. When they went over, Song Wanyu was a little worried. She also heard that although the effects of the divine medicine were amazing, there were usually dangers in such places. Unfortunately, before she could express her opinion, Tian Tian and the others had already gone over. She had no choice but to run over there. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. When she was leaving, Song Wanyu realized that Wang Zhong was following her closely. "Ah-tu, you have to follow me closely. Don't run around. Squeak squeak squeak." Wang Zhong agreed, thinking that he also wanted to take a look at the divine medicine. "You're such a strange dog. Why do you only know how to bark?" Song Wanyu murmured. She tried to recall, but she had never heard Ah-tu bark in her entire life. Could it be that there was something wrong with its throat? It must be a disabled dog. Song Wanyu thought to herself. The girls immediately entered a dense forest. The fragrance was getting closer and closer. At the same time, there was a white fog that shrouded the mountain stream. In a moment of carelessness, Song Wanyu suddenly realized that the girls who had entered earlier had suddenly disappeared. "Sister Tian Tian, Zhang and I? Where are you?" Song Wanyu shouted a few times, but there was no response. Wang Zhong felt that something was not right. Because of the strong medicinal fragrance in the mountain stream, he could not smell anything else. This also meant that he could not find the others with his sense of smell. Wang Zhong immediately jumped onto Song Wanyu's shoulder. "Ah-tu you." Song Wanyu was shocked. When she came to her senses, she was shocked that Ah-tu had jumped onto her shoulder. After thinking about it, Song Wanyu decided that Ah-tu might be too scared and wanted to squeeze with her. "Don't be scared, Ah-tu. We'll leave as soon as we find them." After some time, Song Wanyu's stomach was rumbling with hunger, but she still could not find a single person. The surrounding scenery was getting denser and denser. Suddenly, she heard the sound of flowing water. "There's water." Song Wanyu ran over in surprise. Not only was there the sound of flowing water, but there was also a strong medicinal fragrance in the place where the sound came from. Finally, Song Wanyu ran over. There was indeed a small stream in front of her. Beside the stream, a fiery red grass was swaying in the wind. "This is the scarlet fire grass." Song Wanyu ran over in surprise. "I'm a fire elemental cultivator. If I can bring the scarlet fire grass back and give it to the elders to refine, I'll benefit a lot." However, at this moment, the sound of flowing water came from the opposite bank. Then, she saw a young man in a white robe with a folding fan in his hand. He was jumping over. Smack! The young man jumped beside the scarlet fire grass. After seeing Song Wanyu, the young man smiled. "What a coincidence to meet you in this deep forest." Seeing a living person, Song Wanyu was also happy. "Big brother, I came here with my sisters to pick herbs and accidentally entered this place. We don't know how to get out." "Get out. It's very simple." The young man looked gentle and his words were gentle and refined. He pointed his folding fan behind her and said, "Just follow me later." "Thank you, big brother." At the side, Wang Zhong furrowed his eyebrows. After all, he had been through so many worlds. He was not as naive as Song Wanyu. In this wilderness, suddenly meeting a stranger for no reason, and the stranger even said that he would take you away, shouldn't you be more vigilant? More importantly, there was no danger around the scarlet firegrass. Especially the soil around the grass. It was loose and soft, as if someone had turned it over. It felt as if the grass had been put there by someone at the last minute. "Okay, then let's go. The village I live in is just ahead." You can go back there, the young man continued. Then let's go quickly. Song Wanyu was eager to leave, but at this moment, Wang Zhong jumped down. Wang Zhong knew that as long as he didn't leave, Song Wanyu wouldn't follow. "Ah-tu, don't make a fuss now. Let's go." Song Wanyu saw Wang Zhong jump down and panicked. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Wang Zhong ignored Song Wanyu. Instead, he stared at the young man with a fierce gaze. "Miss, your fox doesn't seem to be very friendly to me." The young man smiled awkwardly. Song Wanyu said embarrassedly, "It used to be very obedient. I don't know why it's like this." "Then don't bother about it. Let's go. This wilderness isn't safe." Chapter 433. It's not very safe in the wilderness. The young man revealed a smile that was like a spring breeze. However, his voice was too soft, giving people a feeling of femininity. It made people who heard it feel as if they were being embraced by a strong man. This was only limited to the imagination of boys, causing goosebumps to rise all over their bodies. Song Wanyu was pleased to hear that. She turned around and smiled. "No, Ah-tu is very obedient. He saved me before. Also, he's not a fox. He's a dog." A dog?" The youth was clearly familiar with all kinds of small animals. No matter how he looked at the Wang Zhong in front of him, other than having 4 legs, which part of him resembled a dog? "Are you sure he's a dog?" If not for Song Wanyu's serious expression, the young man would have suspected that she was an idiot. "My black puppy gave birth to him. I saw it with my own eyes," Song Wanyu said seriously. The young man began to doubt himself. After a long while, he guessed that Wang Zhong was a crossbreed of a dog and a fox. That wasn't entirely impossible. He did not want to dwell on whether Wang Zhong was a dog or a fox. He said, "How about this? Let's go first. We'll look for this dog later." "No," Song Wanyu said firmly. "How can I abandon my savior like this?" The young man was confused. As the two spoke, Wang Zhong looked at the young man and became angrier. Fortunately, he was not a dog. Otherwise, he would have started barking. "Let's go, Ah-tu." Song Wanyu hugged Wang Zhong and tried to pull him away. However, Wang Zhong suddenly tugged at Song Wanyu's trousers and refused to let her go. Song Wanyu was an extremely intelligent girl. Wang Zhong had stopped her several times, and she couldn't help but feel suspicious of him. Ah-tu has always been smart. Why is he suddenly throwing a tantrum? He's always been friendly to others. Why is he suddenly treating this young man like this? Song Wanyu's heart skipped a beat. She sensed danger. She suddenly met a young man in the wilderness. What if he was a bad guy? For a moment, Song Wanyu felt a chill in her heart. That's right, didn't her father remind her many times that she couldn't trust anyone other than herself when she was outside? He had to ensure his own safety before doing the next thing. This was the first rule of survival in the outside world. "Oh right," Song Wanyu suddenly said, "My dad will be here soon. I'll just wait for a while. The village is just over there. Aren't you going?" The young man smiled. Song Wanyu nodded repeatedly. "I'll wait for my father. I'm afraid your father won't be able to find this place easily." As he spoke, the young man lowered his head and pulled out the entire scarlet flame grass from the soft soil. "Do you want it?" Song Wanyu also realized that something was wrong. The soil where the scarlet flame grass grew was very loose, as if it had just been planted. The grass had been placed there on purpose to lure people over. For a moment, Song Wanyu's heart turned cold. I don't want it anymore." Song Wanyu was already backing away. "No. Miss, I just saw that you really wanted it. Here you go." The young man walked over with the scarlet flame grass. "Don't come over." Song Wanyu also noticed the coldness in the young man's voice. He probably knew that he couldn't fool her, so he was prepared to use force. "Ha ha ha. Miss, I'm a good person, a very good person. Why won't you let me come over? As he spoke, the young man put the scarlet flame grass into his black bag. He opened the folding fan in his hand and released a surge of spiritual energy. Song Wanyu's expression changed. This guy was indeed up to no good. He was about to attack. In the next moment, the young man swung the folding fan, and a surge of energy surged out of the fan. He was quite strong. He was at least at the peak of the Qi refinement realm. Song Wanyu was also at the peak of the Qi refinement realm. However, this pinnacle was different for everyone. Martial artists of the same level had to be differentiated by techniques, talent, the purity of the spiritual energy in their body, and even their defensive ability and combat experience. The young man in front of her looked to be 16 or 17 years old, but he had a lot of combat experience. The moment he rushed over, Song Wanyu was stunned and didn't know how to block him. Thump, thump, thump. Song Wanyu was caught off guard and sat on the ground. Bang! A strong gust of wind hit Song Wanyu's face. The young man was stunned for a moment, then he held his stomach and laughed. Ha ha ha, I thought Miss Song was very strong. I didn't expect you to be a weak little girl. Song Wanyu's face turned green and white. She gritted her teeth and said, You know me? Of course I know you. Miss Song, I've seen you from afar in the crowd. Since you know me, why don't you let me go? Song Wanyu tried to use her identity to pressure the young man. The young man's face was full of disdain. He said, I think you think Miss Song is stupid. Do you think I'm your servant and will listen to you? As he spoke, the young man walked toward Song Wanyu. Wang Zhong knew that this was the biggest crisis he and Song Wanyu had ever faced since they were young. This person obviously came prepared. He thought for a moment and suddenly jumped onto Song Wanyu's shoulder. He said softly, You're no match for him. Get ready to run. Song Wanyu was slightly stunned. If it weren't for this man, she would have jumped in fright. His dog actually knew how to talk. Song Wanyu came to her senses. At this moment, she finally understood that her dog might really be a demon. No wonder it was so smart. No wonder it was so sensible. No wonder the dog could talk when she was bathing. So that's why. Song Wanyu turned around and ran as fast as she could. Where do you think you're going? The young man sped up. Song Wanyu turned around and threw a punch at him. At the same time, Wang Zhong also jumped out and clawed at the young man. To be honest, Song Wanyu and Wang Zhong worked together to make the young man panic. Suddenly, a sinister laugh came from the mountain stream. The voice was sometimes high and sometimes low, making one's hair stand on end. Hearing the voice, the man immediately smiled. Master, there's a good medicine testing maiden here. Wang Zhong's expression changed when he heard that. This man was already difficult to deal with. If another master came, it would be troublesome. Along with the voice, a faint demonic aura also drifted over. This man's master was definitely a demon. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong didn't care about Song Wanyu anymore. He turned around and ran into the forest. Due to his fox form, Wang Zhong was very fast. Even if the young man wanted to chase after him, it was too late. Song Wanyu was also very anxious. She wanted to run away, but when she turned her head, she saw a gray-robed, emaciated old man standing behind her. He was as thin as a match. He. The old man made a soft metallic sound. Well done, Gao Jun. Thank you for the compliment, master. This woman is a daughter of the Song family. Her strength is at the peak of the Qi refinement realm, said Gao Jun, Song family. Not bad, not bad. I finally found a medicine testing maiden with some strength. The old man smiled so widely that his eyes narrowed. Song Wanyu was so anxious that she was about to cry when she saw the two people who were up to no good. What was even more frightening was that when the old man appeared, she felt as if her entire body was imprisoned. She could not move at all. Master, there's something else that's very strange. Just now, this girl had a dog with her. It seems to be quite smart. It wanted to bite me before, but it ran away, said Gao Jun. Is there any demonic aura? No. Then it doesn't matter. It's just a smart dog. It won't get in the way. The old man laughed sinisterly. He grabbed Song Wanyu's neck as if he was holding a chicken and said, "My name is Fong Buren. You should have heard of me, right?" Fong Buren. Song Wanyu's expression changed drastically when she heard the name. She subconsciously said, "Poisonous Toad." Poisonous Toad was Fong Buren's nickname. Fong Buren was actually a toad demon who cultivated the way of poison. Almost everyone who fought with him was poisoned to death. There were even countless people whose bodies had rotted due to the outbreak of the poison. In order to develop more efficient and crueler poisons, Fong Buren had captured many living people for live experiments in his early years. After that, the city sent out masters to capture him, but he disappeared without a trace. Fong Buren had been missing for more than 5 years. She did not expect him to appear again, and she even bumped into him. For a moment, Song Wanyu's heart was dead. He. It's good that you know my name. Then you should know that if you dare to disobey my orders, I'll make you wish you were dead. Song Wanyu was so scared that she did not dare to move a single step. In the end, she was captured obediently. When the two of them left, Wang Zhong had been hiding in the grass. When he saw the two of them leave, Wang Zhong followed closely. When Fong Buren appeared at the door of a house, a young boy walked out with a fearful expression. "Welcome back, master." Fong Buren ordered, "Lock this girl up. She's my most precious medicine tester. Take good care of her. If anything happens to her, you'll be my medicine tester." The boy was terrified. He quickly agreed. Then, he and Gao Jun locked the ashen-faced Song Wanyu in a woodshed. When Song Wanyu went in, she realized that there were a few other boys and girls in the place. The condition of these children was not very good. Some of them were even rotten all over, and had already become neither human nor ghost. They looked extremely terrifying. Song Wanyu gulped. She regretted that she only knew how to play. If she had cultivated properly back then, she might have had a chance to escape. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Luckily, Ah-Tu escaped. Song Wanyu lowered her head and looked at the wall beside her. There were walls all around. There was not even a window. It was impossible to escape. Hoo. What should I do? Song Wanyu could not help but cry. "Why are you crying? Master is resting. If you wake him up, he'll chop you up." The boy guarding the door rushed in and kicked Song Wanyu. Strictly speaking, Song Wanyu was more powerful than the doorman. However, Fong Buren had fed her an unknown pill before she arrived, causing her to lose all her spiritual power. Therefore, she was no different from an ordinary person at the moment. Chapter 434. Don't hit me, don't hit me. After being kicked a few times, Song Wanyu's body was covered in bruises. It was a waste. The boy snorted. "Are you still going to make trouble?" "No, stop. Don't hit me." Song Wanyu was angry, but she could only beg for mercy. "I know young ladies like you have bad tempers, so I suggest you don't try anything funny. Otherwise, Master will use the cruelest medicine to deal with you." The boy pointed at a few children not far away who smelled rotten. "Do you see them? Be careful, or you'll end up like them." Song Wanyu sobbed softly. She felt wronged. Since when had she been beaten like this and lived in such a dirty place? But then, a short figure behind the boy caught Song Wanyu's attention. Ah-Tu was here. Behind the boy was Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong had followed these people all the way here. He had been hiding outside. After making sure that Fong Buren and Gao Jun had gone to the side room to rest, he walked out. After some observation, this place should be the nest of the poisonous toad, Fong Buren. Some living people were imprisoned here to test their medicine. Other than them, there were about 4 of Fong Buren's disciples. Gao Jun was the strongest among them, and the others were just here to do odd jobs. When the boy came in, Wang Zhong quietly followed him. Thanks to his small and agile body, no one noticed him at all. He was very safe. Noticing that Song Wanyu was looking at him, Wang Zhong reached out a paw and shook it, telling her not to talk. Song Wanyu unexpectedly understood. She sobbed a few times and stopped moving. "Be smart, or I'll hit you again." The boy said a few more words and then left. At this time, Wang Zhong had already hidden in the dark behind the door. The boy didn't notice him at all. After making sure that no one was around, he quickly went to Song Wanyu. "Ah tu." Song Wanyu's voice was very soft. "Lower your voice." Wang Zhong looked at the other people who were locked up around him. All of them looked dispirited and listless. They didn't have any reaction to their surroundings. It was probably due to some kind of drug in their bodies that caused them to be like this. "Atu, what do we do now? Also, why can you talk?" Song Wanyu asked nervously. "I'm a little demon." At this time, Wang Zhong could only admit it. He warned, "I don't want anyone to know about me, including your family." Song Wanyu nodded repeatedly. Although monsters were active in human territory, they were generally discriminated against, especially ordinary monsters without any background. They were easily beaten to death. "Don't worry, Atu. I won't say anything." "Well, you have to calm down now. When the gatekeeper comes in again, you can try to ask him some questions about this place. Now, write a life-saving letter, and I'll send it to your father." "Atu, you're so smart. I didn't think of that." With Wang Zhong around, Song Wanyu gradually calmed down. Then, she hesitated. "But I don't have a pen with me." Wang Zhong rolled his eyes. He was speechless. "Give me your hand." "Oh." Song Wanyu curiously extended her hand. At this time, Wang Zhong's claw scratched her hand. The tip of Song Wanyu's little finger was immediately bleeding. "It hurts. Hurry up and write." Song Wanyu hurriedly wrote on her clothes. As she wrote, she looked at Wang Zhong strangely. She was curious as to why Wang Zhong, this dog demon, was so intelligent that he could think of such a good idea. Because of the limited cloth, Song Wanyu did not write much. "I was caught by a poisonous toad. Follow Atu and save me." After she finished writing, Song Wanyu folded the cloth. "Remember, don't tell anyone about me. Otherwise, I'll leave." Wang Zhong picked up the cloth and left without looking back. Song Wanyu was both happy and worried. She was happy that Atu was a demon and was her good friend. She would have a companion in the future. She was worried that Atu was a demon. It would be troublesome if someone found out. "Why don't I make Atu my demon pet?" Song Wanyu thought. In this world, many mighty figures would subdue some demons and make them their demon pets. Some kind of contract would be established between the two. When the time came, the demon would have to listen to the master. Otherwise, the master could punish the demon with a single thought. While Song Wanyu was imagining things, Wang Zhong had already entered the forest and was running quickly. It was not until nighttime that Wang Zhong finally saw the Song Manor. However, the Song Manor was brightly lit at this time. Countless servants were running around the village with torches. The Song family's young mistress, Song Wanyu, had gone out to play with her friends. She encountered a fog in the mountain stream and her friends went missing. Her friends were found by their parents in turn. Only Song Wanyu was missing. Now, almost everyone in the Song family had been sent out to search for Song Wanyu. "Where did Wanyu go? Why can't I find her?" Song Chong paced back and forth in the hall angrily. In fact, he had long wanted to go out and search for her himself. However, he realized that if he left, there would be no one in charge of the Song family. "Master." At this time, a servant ran in. "The fog at the mountain stream has receded. We have searched inside and out. There were no traces of the young mistress. However, we found traces of a fight." "Was the fight serious?" "It wasn't very serious. We also found some dog footprints at the scene. Our preliminary conclusion is that they were left by the young mistress' pet, Atu." "All right, follow the footprints." But the footprints disappeared in the distance. "We are now sending people to search in that direction. In addition, we found several hunter corpses in the forest. They were all poisoned to death. Poisoned to death. Song Chong immediately thought of the poisoned toad that had disappeared all these years. Didn't this demon kill people by using poison? Moreover, the poisoned toad liked to capture people alive to test its poison. Thinking of this, Song Chong was almost certain that the poisoned toad had returned. Just as he was thinking about what to do next, Wang Zhong ran into the hall. Why is there a wild dog here? A servant wanted to chase Wang Zhong away. However, when Song Chong saw Wang Zhong, he quickly said, "Don't move." Wang Zhong looked at Song Chong and put down the cloth in his mouth. What's with this dog? Song Chong's friend who came to help was curious. This is my daughter's dog. It has been very close to Wan Yu since she was young, Song Chong replied. His sharp eyes saw the cloth on the ground. Isn't this the cloth on my daughter's clothes today? Wan Yu's mother recognized it immediately. Song Chong immediately picked up the cloth and opened it. Immediately, Song Chong became excited. My daughter is saved. He looked at Wang Zhong with burning eyes and said excitedly, "It is indeed a good dog." Why did it sound like he was scolding someone? Wang Zhong felt helpless. He jumped out and indicated that he would follow him. This dog means to follow him. Let's go. Song Chong immediately gathered a few friends and the group rushed out. At this moment, the sky was already dark. Because Song Wanyu was too tired, she fell asleep in a daze. In her dream, although she was saved by her father, her body was rotten and smelly. The dream was too terrifying, and it woke her up immediately. When she woke up, she saw Gao Jun walking in with a bowl of medicine. He said to the boy beside him, "Junior brother, open the prison door. Let her try the latest medicine that master made." The boy nodded and opened the door. Master has prepared a new medicine. What is this? Spiritual enhancement medicine. Didn't this girl lose all her spiritual power? Drink the medicine and see how much your spiritual power will increase. Gao Jun explained and passed the bowl to the boy. Feed it to her. I don't want to drink it. Song Wanyu shook her head desperately. Humph. This is spiritual enhancement medicine, not poison. What are you afraid of? Gao Jun slapped Song Wanyu, and her face swelled up. Woo-woo. Song Wanyu had never been wronged like this before. She cried until she was in tears. After the boy grabbed Song Wanyu's arm, he began to pour the medicine into her mouth. The medicine was extremely bitter, and Song Wanyu almost vomited. But soon, she also found that her spiritual power was slowly recovering. How is it? I told you it's not poison. Gao Jun sneered. Master said that he finally caught a Qi refinement realm girl to test the medicine. He can't let you die like this. He has to try the medicine a few more times. You guys are so bad. Song Wanyu said with a sobbing tone. At this time, Fong Buren walked in. Master. Gao Jun and the others bowed respectfully. Yes, how is it? Fong Buren glanced at Song Wanyu. Master, the medicine has just been fed. Fong Buren nodded and felt the power in Song Wanyu's body. It seemed to be good. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that I would really succeed in making the spiritual enhancement pill. As long as I condense this bowl of spiritual enhancement medicine into a pill, it will be a success. Fong Buren smiled proudly. Congratulations, Master. Fong Buren waved his hand indifferently. After he came out, he suddenly thought of something and looked at the forest strangely. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Outside the house, under Wang Zhong's lead, the Song family and the others had surrounded the place. The demonic aura is really strong inside. Song Chong observed the place. He could smell that other than the demonic aura, there was also a rotten smell. The group slowly closed in. But at this time, Fong Buren, who was at the door, suddenly emitted a black fog. Someone's here. Song Chong shouted, Go! The Song family's people held bows and arrows, aiming at Fong Buren and his disciples. Ah! In an instant, other than Gao Jun, the other disciples were pierced by the sharp arrows. Fong Buren, on the other hand, jumped to the top of the building immediately and looked down coldly. "Be careful of the poisonous fog," Song Chong warned in the face of the black fog. The Song family's experts rushed to the roof and fought with Fong Buren. Wang Zhong had already hidden and rushed to Fong Buren's house. Fong Buren was also a demon, but he took human form. Therefore, Wang Zhong guessed that there must be many demonic techniques in the place he lived. If he could get it, it would be very useful. Chapter 435. Fong Buren's room was abnormally dark. Fortunately, with Wang Zhong's current eyesight, he did not need any light to see clearly in the dark. There were a few rotten corpses in the room, with countless maggots crawling on them. It was obvious that this was where Fong Buren usually ate. He was a toad demon, and his favorite food was worms. There were a few cloth bags in the room, which should be Fong Buren's luggage. He opened them immediately, and books came into view. Polymorph, Human Speech, Poison Sutra, Secret Alchemy Method, Spiritual Pet Contract Method. There were a lot of techniques. After reading them, Wang Zhong was overjoyed. Any one of these books would be very useful to him. Polymorph, which could turn him into a human. Secret Alchemy Method, which could refine pills to replenish spiritual energy. Spiritual Pet Contract Method, which could subdue demon pets, monsters, and even humans, could form a contract effect. In addition, there were some bottles and jars. After quickly putting these things into a cloth bag, Wang Zhong closed the bag with his mouth, then put it on his back and jumped out of the back window. At this moment, a large group of people was besieging Fong Buren, so they did not notice the back window. After Wang Zhong rushed into the forest, he hid the cloth bag and looked outside. The Song family had suffered heavy casualties. They were not killed by Fong Buren himself, but by Fong Buren releasing poisonous gas all the time. Most of them were killed by the poisonous gas. However, the experts of the Song family were not to be trifled with. As a few of them attacked Fong Buren more and more fiercely, Fong Buren found it more and more difficult to resist. In the end, he even wanted to escape. But at this time, Song Chong attacked and sent Fong Buren flying with a palm. Puff. This blow caused Fong Buren to fall to the ground on the spot. After his body twitched a few times, he turned into a human-sized toad. This big toad was black all over, and its back and forehead were full of thick pustules. Arrows. Fong Buren did not get close to this poisonous toad, because he knew that if he did, the pustules on this toad's body would explode, and he would probably be implicated. In the end, the poisonous toad was shot to death by the arrows. Song Wanyu was brought out by two elders. Seeing that Song Wanyu was fine, Fong Buren heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. In the end, everyone looked at Gao Jun, who was lucky enough to survive. Just now, although Gao Jun had dodged the arrows, he was immediately captured in the following battle. Plop. Gao Jun wailed miserably. It's a misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. I was forced. Father, this is the person who lured me with a stalk of scarlet flame grass and got me captured. Song Wanyu gnashed her teeth when she saw Gao Jun. Gao Jun kowtowed while crying, I had no choice. I became that toad spirit's human pet. If I didn't do that, he would have killed me. There were demon pets in this world. Naturally, there were also people who pampered them. The principle was the same. The strong would cast the spell and sign a contract, while the weak person or demon would become a spiritual pet and listen to the orders of the caster from then on. Tell us everything about this poisonous toad, Song Chong said coldly. Yes, yes. Then, Gao Jun described what Fong Buren had done. As for himself, he described himself as a lonely child who was forced to become that demon's spiritual pet. If he didn't listen, he would have died. After that, Song Chong chopped off Gao Jun's head with a sword. Wanyu, it's good that you're fine. Speaking of which, it's really lucky that your dog was here. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known that you were here. Yeah, by the way, where's the dog? Song Wanyu asked anxiously. She was really worried that Wang Zhong was afraid that his identity as a demon would be exposed and he would run away. Just as she finished speaking, Song Wanyu felt an itch at her feet. She looked down and smiled. Dog. Wang Zhong rolled his eyes. She already knew that he was a demon, yet she still called him a dog. After returning, Song Wanyu immediately carried Wang Zhong back to the house. Wang Zhong entered the house and jumped onto the stool. He looked at Song Wanyu calmly. Dog. I'm not a dog. Wang Zhong spoke in human language. He wagged his tail and said helplessly, Besides, the name you gave me is really old-fashioned. I'm sorry. Do you want me to change your name? Song Wanyu said embarrassedly. That won't be necessary. If you're not a dog, then what are you? Just treat me as a little demon. Anyway, I won't harm you. You can rest assured. Okay. Song Wanyu remembered that Wang Zhong had saved her many times and nodded repeatedly. After that, after Wang Zhong's explanation, Song Wanyu finally understood where Wang Zhong came from. Finally, she said solemnly, Don't worry. I may be young, but I'm not an ungrateful person. If I have something to eat in the future, you won't be left out. Wang Zhong said, Prepare individual meals for me in the future. Okay. It's getting late. Go to bed early. No, I want to cultivate. Aren't you tired? I'm tired, but I still want to cultivate. The incident this time had completely ignited Song Wanyu's fighting spirit. Wang Zhong didn't care. He began to read the Polymorph book alone. He couldn't stay in the Song family forever. If he wanted to leave, this polymorph was the key. Only by transforming into a human like the toad spirit could he walk the Jianghu. In the following days, Wang Zhong didn't follow Song Wanyu to cultivate. After Song Wanyu went out, he stayed in the room alone to cultivate the polymorph technique. Sometimes when he was tired, he would study other secret manuals. In the blink of an eye, another year had passed. During this time, Wang Zhong finally digested the secret manuals of the toad spirit. On this day, Song Wanyu returned to the house with the braised pork as usual. When she opened the door, Song Wanyu was shocked. There was someone in the house. There was a teenage boy who was naked. Ah, there's a thief. Song Wanyu was about to shout when Wang Zhong picked up the sheet and wrapped it around himself. He said lightly, What are you shouting for? It's me. Tu. Hearing the voice, Song Wanyu recognized Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong nodded and said, Yes. You've transformed. Song Wanyu was stunned at first, but then she was ecstatic. Congratulations. Tu. That's great. During this time, Song Wanyu had been sleeping in the same room as Wang Zhong at night. The two of them were already very familiar with each other. Therefore, she also knew that Wang Zhong was cultivating the polymorph technique. Wang Zhong smiled faintly. According to the toad spirit's notes, it took him a few decades to cultivate the polymorph technique, but he only had 1 year. This wasn't to say that he cultivated quickly, but that his talent was really extraordinary. Lower your voice. Don't let others hear you, Wang Zhong said. Yes. Tu, since you can transform, why don't you join our Song family and be my personal guard? Wang Zhong sighed. Song Wanyu was now treating him as her best friend. Unfortunately, she didn't know that when he transformed, it was time for him to leave this place. The world here was still too small. Tu, what do you say? Be my guard, and no one will scold you in the future. Also, you can get our Song family's cultivation resources. Song Wanyu said to herself, then smiled and said, Speaking of which, you transformed into a human, but why don't you have any clothes? Speaking of this, Song Wanyu's little face blushed. She clearly knew that Wang Zhong was an animal, but when she saw Wang Zhong like that just now, her little heart beat very fast. Right, you can also be my demon pet. This way, we won't have to be separated. Looking at Song Wanyu who was talking to herself, Wang Zhong sighed and interrupted, Wanyu, I'm leaving. Song Wanyu was stunned. I'm preparing to leave here. I need to become stronger. You want to leave? Don't you like being with me? Song Wonyu's eyes suddenly became a little moist. No, we're still young. While we're young, we need to improve our strength. We can't hide in this small world forever. Do you understand? Song Wonyu was still young, but it didn't mean that she didn't understand this. It was just that in the past, she had never considered this. Ah-tu, your tail hasn't changed back. At this time, Song Wonyu noticed Wang Zhong's furry tail. Wang Zhong nodded and said, I know. It's not easy to change this tail. Then you stay here. You can leave after you've trained to change back to your tail, Song Wonyu said hopefully. Wang Zhong shook his head and said, I'm wearing a long robe. The tail won't get in the way. Do you have to leave? I originally wanted you to be my demon pet. Wang Zhong smiled and said, It's not like we're parting forever. What's there to be sad about? As he said that, Wang Zhong walked to the window and said, I'm preparing to leave tonight. Ah-tu. Song Wonyu walked over and said sadly, Eat the red braised pork before you leave. I cooked it myself. Looking at Song Wonyu, Wang Zhong stroked her hair and said, We'll always be good friends. Song Wonyu suddenly smiled and said, I used to think that I was your little master. I didn't expect you to treat me as a friend. Although I'm an animal, my mind is the same as a human's. As he said that, Wang Zhong put on the long robe that he had prepared long ago. Where are you going? I'll go towards the direction of the Yao clan. Or maybe, I'll join a sect. Wang Zhong thought and said, with your intelligence, you'll definitely be very powerful in the future. The two of them talked quietly. After Wang Zhong finished the red braised pork, he carried his luggage and walked out of the door. When he came to Blackie's place, Song Wonyu had already sent Blackie's children away. At this moment, Blackie was the only dog left. Ah-tu. Blackie raised his head and said, Are you ready to go? Yes, I'm ready to go. Ah, young people should go out and explore, Blackie said sadly. Dog mother, thank you for taking care of me in the past. In the future, live a good life. Ah-tu, take good care of yourself when you're outside. Wang Zhong nodded and jumped onto the wall. His figure disappeared. Ah-tu. After returning to the house, Song Wonyu looked at the empty room and then looked at the place where Wang Zhong usually slept. There was only a lonely blanket left. Ah-tu, I'll cultivate well. I hope I can see you in the future. As she said that, Song Wonyu carefully put the blanket that Wang Zhong slept on. Chapter 436. Late at night, the full moon hung high in the sky. In the forest outside Stone Village, a young man in a long robe was hurrying on his way. He didn't have much luggage, only a bag. As he hurried on his way, a furry tail peeked out from under his long robe from time to time. This person was naturally Wang Zhong, who had transformed into his human form. Shape-shifting wasn't a profound cultivation technique. As long as one reached the Foundation Establishment realm, they could use it. Even many talented monsters could master it and shapeshift into human form at a certain time. However, there were also some disadvantages to shapeshifting. After shapeshifting, there would be no clothes. Moreover, if one was seriously injured, it would be difficult for the demonic aura in the body to maintain the human form. Once the real body was exposed, it would be very troublesome. Therefore, after leaving the Song family, Wang Zhong set a survival rule for himself. The rule was very simple. There was only one word, and that was, stay low. If he could avoid trouble, he wouldn't cause trouble. If he could get along with others peacefully, he would. If he could take a step back, he would. If he continued to stay low, it would reduce the chances of conflict with others, the chances of him getting injured, and the chances of his identity being exposed. Perfect. Of course, before Wang Zhong left the Song family, he did some work to see if he could go directly to the territory of the demon race. However, after looking at it, He realized that although he could go to the demon race's territory by traveling day and night, there were mountains and rivers in between. The only connecting plane was also a place where good and bad people were mixed together. The weakest one was at the Foundation Establishment realm. Wang Zhong thought about it and felt that it would be difficult for him to survive if he went there with his current strength. His current strength was at the Foundation Establishment realm, which seemed very powerful in Stone Village. However, after seeing the battle between the poisonous toad and Song Chong, Wang Zhong understood that he was still too weak. He had to reach the nascent Soul Realm or even the Void Return Realm before he could consider going to the demon race's territory. Therefore, Wang Zhong thought about it carefully. For the time being, he would find a sect to settle down in and slowly improve his strength. This sect couldn't be too big. If it was too big, there would be many experts. Although his demonic aura couldn't be detected easily for some reason, it was better to be safe than sorry. For safety reasons, Wang Zhong decided to find a medium-sized sect to settle down in. The destination of this trip was Border City. Border Town and Stone Village were only separated by this forest. Moreover, it was said that there were many sects in Border Town, and there were many martial arts inheritances. There were even many monsters active there. It was a very good place to go. After getting his bearings, Wang Zhong quickened his pace. Finally, Wang Zhong came to a stop at a place where trees had collapsed. This place was the nest where he had been born. After so many years, the fallen trees had long been cut down and dragged away by the villagers. Only a few broken stumps were left. When they arrived at the small nest, it was already overgrown with weeds, and the entrance to the nest could no longer be seen. Sigh. I don't know what happened to Mother. With a soft sigh, Wang Zhong turned around and left. Once he left, he knew that he would not be able to return in a short period of time. Steamed buns. Who wants hot steamed buns? Sesame seed cake. My sesame seed cake is big and round. Early in the morning, the busiest street in Border City was already packed with people and carriages. Hawkers had already set up stalls along the street to sell breakfast. At this moment, Wang Zhong was walking on the street and came to a stall selling steamed buns. Give me 2 steamed buns. Wang Zhong asked. How much? 4 copper coins. The hawker beamed with joy. As expected of a big city, this price was 1 copper coin more expensive than Stone Village. Fortunately, when he was in the Song Mansion, he had taken some money from Song Wanyu, so he was not short on money for the time being. After handing over the money, Wang Zhong asked while eating, Little brother, is there any sect around here that is recruiting? Oh, you want to enter a sect to cultivate? Since there was no business, the hawker looked at Wang Zhong with interest. Wang Zhong's appearance was relatively thin and weak, and he looked extremely weak. However, judging from his attire, he looked refined and didn't seem like someone who had fallen on hard times. Therefore, the peddler guessed that Wang Zhong was a disciple of a small family who had come here specifically to enter a sect to cultivate. Wang Zhong nodded and said, When I was young, I studied at home. Unfortunately, I encountered a bottleneck and wanted to find a sect to study. I wonder if little brother has any recommendations? Of course there is. Our border city is so big and there are so many sections. But to be honest, those big sects are very difficult to enter. Even if you enter, I'm afraid you won't be able to learn anything. Oh, is that so? The hawker sighed and said, Of course. The big sects have tens of thousands of disciples. If you don't have talent, you won't have a chance to cultivate. Moreover, the competition between the big sects is fierce. There is a lot of open and covert fighting. You are an outsider and don't look like you have any backing. I don't recommend you to go to a big sect. Wang Zhong did not want to go to a big sect, so he asked, Then I'll find some medium-sized sections. I wonder if little brother has any recommendations. There is a sect called the Iron Mountain sect. Recently, they seem to have posted a notice for a martial arts competition. There is also a sect called the Red River sect. I heard that if you pay 100 silver coins, you can become a direct disciple. But this sect is not very reliable. The hawker was a good person. He introduced a lot of sects, but unfortunately, none of them were to Wang Zhong's liking. So, Wang Zhong strolled around the city. There were indeed many large and small sections. Wang Zhong saw a lot of them. Some sects claimed to be strong, but Wang Zhong saw that some of their disciples were weaker than the Song family's disciples. Some sects were not weak, but unfortunately, the conditions to enter them were too harsh. Finally, Wang Zhong noticed a sect called the Zhongshan sect. This Zhongshan sect was also recently recruiting disciples. The reason why he paid attention to this sect was because he heard that this sect used to be one of the top sections. Unfortunately, the sect had not produced a talented disciple for a long time. Over time, the Zhongshan sect fell from a first-class sect to a second-class or even a third-class sect. This sect used to be famous, which showed that its foundation was still there. There were no talented disciples, which was exactly what Wang Zhong wanted. The most important thing was that the Zhongshan sect's recruitment conditions were quite good. In the sect, one could receive 2 pieces of jade every month. The so-called jade was a kind of stone that could absorb spirit qi. It was very precious among cultivators. In the past, the Song family also had one. For example, Song Wanyu could receive 10 pieces of jade every month. So, Wang Zhong followed the address on the notice and left the city. He went to the Zhongshan sect's address, Zhongshan. Zhongshan was a towering mountain. When Wang Zhong came, he thought that this place would be like a fairyland. Only when he arrived did he realize that this was a very large barren mountain. The steps up the mountain were very dilapidated. There were 2 disciples at the gate. When they saw Wang Zhong coming, they both perked up. "Who are you?" the 2 disciples asked in unison. Wang Zhong held the notice of recruitment in his hand and said, "I'm here to study." "I see. The recruitment of disciples is over these days," the disciple on the right said. "Ah." Wang Zhong did not expect that he would be late. But the external affairs elder said that the sect is still short of miscellaneous disciples. "If you want to join, I'll take you in." "What's a miscellaneous disciple?" Wang Zhong was curious. The 2 disciples were very patient. They explained, "A miscellaneous disciple is a person whose daily job is to do some miscellaneous things, such as sweeping the floor, cooking, and chopping firewood. Miscellaneous disciples do not have much time to cultivate every day, but they can still receive jade every month." Wasn't this exactly what he wanted? Wang Zhong was overjoyed when he heard this. His purpose of joining the sect was to obtain cultivation resources and some inheritance. However, he did not want to be too involved with the disciples in the sect, so as not to expose his identity as a fox demon. Now that he had entered the sect as a miscellaneous disciple, he could be said to be at the bottom of the hierarchy. Wasn't this good? At least no one would pay attention to him. After all, who would pay attention to a person at the bottom of the hierarchy? Wang Zhong responded, "I understand. I'm willing to be a miscellaneous disciple." "Well, you'll be under observation for 10 days. If the elders think that you're not doing well, you'll have to go down the mountain." "Okay." Following which, Wang Zhong was naturally brought up to the stage. From the outside, the mountain looked dilapidated. However, after going up the mountain, Wang Zhong found that there was a different world here. The mountain was very big. Countless buildings were next to each other. Just by looking at so many buildings, one could see the foundation of the Zhongshan sect in the past. On the way, the gatekeeping disciple also explained the rules here to Wang Zhong. The disciples here were divided into miscellaneous disciples, outer disciples, and inner disciples. Miscellaneous disciples had the lowest status, followed by outer disciples. Above the disciples were the elders, followed by the sect master. Miscellaneous disciples like Wang Zhong were all managed by the elder in charge of external affairs. The people here were quite nice. They did not look down on Wang Zhong just because he was a miscellaneous disciple. After successfully entering the place, the elder in charge of external affairs arranged for a disciple to take Wang Zhong to familiarize himself with the environment here. The job assigned to him was to clean the fallen leaves on the martial arts field. This job could be said to be the most difficult in the sect. Because the martial arts field was very big, there were so many fallen leaves every day that it could scare people to death. In addition, there were many people on the martial arts field. To be honest, it was a little embarrassing to be seen sweeping there every day. However, Wang Zhong was very happy to accept the job. It was very simple. Working on the martial arts field, he could often watch others practice martial arts. As for whether it was embarrassing or not, it was even less of a concern. After all, he was an old man who had lived for hundreds of years. How could he be so childish as to care about his face? After entering, he was quite satisfied with everything. The only thing that made him frown was his residence. Chapter 437. Senior Brother, is this my residence? Looking at the shabby wooden hut in front of him, Wang Zhong was speechless. The hut in front of him was called a hut because the walls on 3 sides were made of wood and the roof was straw. However, because no one lived here for a long time, the straw on the roof had long been blown to pieces by the wind. Not only would it rain, but it would also leak in the wind. Such a residence was almost like a dog's kennel. How could anyone live here? The one who led Wang Zhong here was a disciple in his early 20s. He looked very honest and seemed to be a good person. He replied, "You're a miscellaneous disciple. It's already good that you're able to come here. After all, you're not here to enjoy life. Although this house is a little shabby, it's still a place for you to stay. You can use your free time over the next few days to tidy up this place." Wang Zhong naturally wouldn't lose his temper over this. His main principle now was to hide. "I understand. Thank you, senior brother." Seeing that Wang Zhong had a good temper, the disciple was very satisfied. He nodded and said, "Then I will leave first. If there is anything you don't understand in the future, you can ask me." After he left, Wang Zhong began to tidy up the hut. The hut was located next to a small stream. There were no other huts around. This was good for Wang Zhong. Although it was a bit shabby, it was clean. First, he cleaned up the useless things in the hut. Then, he had to deal with the problem of the roof. Fortunately, after living for so many lives, Wang Zhong's ability to do things was very strong. Therefore, he went straight to the forest opposite the stream and found some hay. He piled it up at the door and exposed it to the sun. After that, he went to the sect and borrowed a hatchet from the utility room. He came back and chopped a pile of wood to repair the hut. That night, Wang Zhong almost didn't sleep. After a night, the 4 walls were almost finished. Of course, the hut was still very shabby. After all, it wasn't separated by wooden boards. Some gaps were still leaking in, but it was good for a short time. Today, he didn't have time to repair it. After all, from the moment he entered the sect, he had a mission every day. After arriving at the External Affairs Elder and receiving his own broom and dustpan, he would be responsible for the cleaning of the training field and the nearby tree-lined paths. He was dressed in a gray robe that was simple and clean. This was something he had received from the External Affairs Elder. Walking on the path to the training field, Wang Zhong thought about the rules and his future work that the External Affairs Elder had just told him. The elder in charge of foreign affairs took good care of him. He knew that his residence was not good, so he just cleaned it up in the morning and could rest in the afternoon. Of course, the External Affairs Elder had also let him use some of his strength. Unfortunately, they could not detect the demonic power at all. They could only detect a trace of the spiritual power that Wang Zhong deliberately used. In the end, it was determined that his strength was around the early stage of the qi refining realm. Wang Zhong was very satisfied with this result. Aside from receiving 2 jade stones for cultivation, those who worked here could also receive a portion of contribution points every month. Contribution points were a unit of currency used by the Zhongshan sect. They could be exchanged for pills, equipment, and even silver taels when they went out. Therefore, in other words, the work here was not for free. This was very humane. In terms of food, there was a cafeteria in the morning and at noon. It was not free and required contribution points, but overall, it was cheaper than buying outside. However, the food there was not very good. The disciples here who had some ability basically had their own special meals. These basic aspects of life were relatively easy, but in terms of cultivation, the competition was very fierce. Here, those who had the ability would be promoted, and those who did not would be eliminated. The law of the jungle was vividly reflected here. The Zhongshan sect had strict rules. Whether it was inner sect disciples, outer sect disciples, or miscellaneous disciples, no matter who it was, they had to challenge other disciples every month. The strength of the challengers could not cross realms. For example, those in the Qi refinement realm could only challenge those in the Qi refinement realm. Those in the Foundation Establishment realm could only challenge those in the Foundation Establishment realm. Of course, those in the Qi refinement realm could challenge those in the Foundation Establishment realm, and those in the Nascent Soul realm could also challenge those in the Foundation Establishment realm. However, under normal circumstances, no one would ask for a rebuff and challenge someone in a higher realm. The results of the challenges would be recorded. If you won 5 challenges in a row, you would be rewarded with contribution points. At the end of the year, you would also have the opportunity to participate in the challenges of inner sect disciples. Once you defeated an inner sect disciple, not only would you receive the treatment of an inner sect disciple, but you would also have the opportunity to be apprenticed to an elder. At that time, it would be like a carp jumping over the dragon's gate. Unfortunately, Wang Zhong was not interested in being apprenticed. The reason was very simple. If he were to be apprenticed, it was very likely that his identity would be exposed. Secondly, he was a demon, and those elders would not be of much help to his cultivation. It was good for him to cultivate on his own. In the sect, the spirit energy was much denser than in the outside world. He believed that with his current cultivation speed, he would not be slower than those inner sect disciples. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. His short hair in the past was now very long. Wang Zhong had also renovated his residence very well. On the basis of the old house, he built a bedroom for himself next to it, which was more comfortable to live in. The old house had been converted into a place for cooking and eating. The food in the cafeteria was really too bad. He still had to use contribution points to buy food, so he might as well cook something for himself. Although there was no rice on the mountain, there were fish and prawns in the stream in front of the house. There were also wild fruits and vegetables in the forest. It was enough for him to eat alone. Late at night, Wang Zhong sat cross-legged and cultivated. At this time, a fiery red 9-tailed demon fox suddenly appeared in his mind. Its cold eyes stared straight at him, as if it was talking. Wang Zhong frowned. He knew that this was a scene in his sleep. This was a dream, but the scene was so familiar, as if it was real. This was not the first time he had had this dream. After entering the Foundation Establishment stage, he had been having this dream more and more often. At first, he thought it was purely a dream, but now he felt that it was not an ordinary dream. Because in the dream, the 9-tailed demon fox seemed to be talking to him. In the dream, Wang Zhong was just an ordinary demon fox. In front of the 9-tailed demon fox, he was like a child, so small. Early in the morning, Wang Zhong opened his eyes from cultivation. Demon qi surged around his body, and the color of the demon pill in his mind had deepened. This was a sign of strength growth. He let out a long sigh. The 9-tailed demon fox in the dream seemed to be getting closer and closer to him. He had a vague feeling that if this continued, the 9-tailed demon fox would stand in front of him sooner or later. Could this be the inheritance in my mind? Wang Zhong thought to himself. He decided to find out. It was already dawn outside, and now it was time to prepare breakfast. Wang Zhong walked to the stream, washed his face, rinsed his mouth, and went back to the house to start a fire. Breakfast was simple. A bowl of porridge and a grilled fish. There were many fish in the stream. These days, Wang Zhong had caught quite a lot. Now, he hung the fish at the door to dry and make them into dried fish. After eating, Wang Zhong picked up the broom and ran out. His movements were very fast, but when he approached the training field, he gradually slowed down. He. When he arrived at the training field, many hard-working disciples had already started cultivating. Although the training field was very big, it was divided into 2 areas. The higher ground was larger, but there were fewer people. This was because that was the area where the inner sect disciples gathered. Outer sect disciples and miscellaneous disciples did not dare to go there. Wang Zhong quietly swept the ground. He was like a bystander, and the surrounding disciples were not interested in interacting with him. Everyone wanted to climb higher. Who would want to get to know a disciple sweeping the ground? There were not many fallen leaves these days, so Wang Zhong finished his work very quickly. Just as he put down the broom and was about to drink some water, 3 figures walked over. Wang Zhong turned around and looked. He was not surprised and said, "Which one of you 3 wants to fight me?" The 3 of them were a little embarrassed. These 3 disciples were the weakest among the outer sect disciples. They did not dare to fight with other powerful disciples, so they looked for Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong did not care about this. He was just going to deal with it. When the time came, he would lose to one of these 3 people. "Sorry, our strength is not high. Anyway, you are going to lose, so we came to find you. Junior brother, please don't take offense." The disciple in the middle said embarrassedly. Another disciple also apologized, "Let's go to the cafeteria for lunch. We will treat you." Wang Zhong smiled. Although the competition in this sect was fierce, the disciples were still relatively kind-hearted. They did not look down on him because he was just a disciple sweeping the ground. So he cupped his hands and said, "3 senior brothers, there is no need to be polite. Then I will choose." With that, Wang Zhong found a broken branch and turned it on the ground. Finally, the branch pointed to the disciple in the middle. The disciple was overjoyed. After all, everyone wanted to win. It would be best if they could easily beat Wang Zhong. At this time, more and more people looked over. In 3 months, although many people did not know who Wang Zhong was, they all knew him. He was a chores disciple sweeping the ground. His strength was frighteningly weak. Every month, the weakest disciples would challenge him. Basically, this chores disciple would be defeated in less than 3 moves. Many people paid attention to this place with the mentality of watching a joke. Facing the surrounding gazes, Wang Zhong's face changed. However, the tall youth who challenged him looked nervous and a little embarrassed. At this time, a slim woman with long blue hair led 2 female disciples over. The woman in the lead was called Zhou Yunxia. She was an inner disciple and the senior sister in the sect. Her job was to record the results of some disciples' duels. Every time there was a duel, she and her assistants would appear. This miscellaneous disciple is being challenged again. How pitiful. A short and chubby girl behind Zhou Yunxia muttered. He was bullied because he was weak. Those 3 people's strength is also very average. They used to be bullied often. Zhou Yunxia said with a cold face, "We are responsible for recording. There is no need to talk about who is strong and who is weak." Yes. The 2 girls stuck out their tongues and were a little embarrassed. Chapter 438. My name is Yang Ding, Qi Refinement Realm. In front of Wang Zhong, the youth called Yang Ding cupped his hands and shouted, "My name is R2, also Qi Refinement Realm." Wang Zhong was still using his real name. After all, there was no need for him to change it. As for his surname, he explained to the others that he was an orphan since he was young, and everyone called him a Tuesday, big senior sister. Please record it. Yang Ding noticed Zhou Yunxia and the others. As the person who recorded the results of the competition, Zhou Yunxia and her team were dressed differently. Zhou Yunxia nodded and picked up a notebook. The notebook was densely packed with the names of all the disciples in the sect. Behind each name was written a victory or defeat. The people on the field consciously made way, leaving only Wang Zhong and Yang Ding. Please advise. As soon as Yang Ding finished speaking, he took the initiative to attack. He was indeed weak. Not only was his strength weak, but his speed was also very slow. Wang Zhong could easily block Yang Ding's attack and knock him down, but he did not do so. Instead, after a few moves, his footsteps suddenly became messy, and he kept retreating. So strong. Wang Zhong pretended to almost fall and said in shock, "I lost." "Phew. You let me win." Yang Ding smiled. Wang Zhong nodded. "If there's nothing else, I'll go sweep the floor." "Okay, let's have lunch together," Yang Ding said apologetically. "That's not necessary." Wang Zhong smiled. "The food in the cafeteria is not to my taste. I usually eat in my room." "Then I won't be polite." Since Wang Zhong said so, Yang Ding could not say anything. He secretly cursed this disciple who swept the floor, just as the rumors said, was a recluse. After the crowd dispersed, Wang Zhong put the broom away and walked toward the Jin Shu Pavilion. The Jin Shu Pavilion was the place where the Zhongshan sect stored some books. These books included books on cultivation techniques, medicine, weapons, and even strange stories and anecdotes of this world. It functioned as a library. This time, Wang Zhong also considered that he was a demon, and a high-level one at that. He might have some memory inheritance on him. Since there was no one to teach him, he could go to the library and look for introductions to some monsters. Perhaps he could gain something. When he left, Wang Zhong's speed was not fast. The tail under his robe was wrapped around his waist, so it was not easy to be discovered. Sometimes, Wang Zhong sighed with emotion. He was really not used to dragging a tail around in this life. There were not many people at the entrance of Jin Shu Pavilion today. Wang Zhong came to the counter at the entrance and knocked on the door. "Elder." This old man was in charge of managing the Jin Shu Pavilion. Everyone called him Elder Shi. He seemed to be in his 60s, but according to the other disciples, this old man was at least 100 years old. The fact that Elder Shi was still alive and kicking at this age was enough to prove his strength. The old man narrowed his eyes and sized up Wang Zhong. He asked, "What book do you want to read?" According to the rules of the sect, the more precious the book, the more contribution points it required. Moreover, there was a limit to the time it could be read. "Elder Shi, I want to find some books about monsters," Wang Zhong said. "You're not going out to gain experience. Why are you looking for those books?" Elder Shi rolled his eyes and said bluntly, "You're still too weak. I suggest you look at some self-defense techniques so that you don't always get bullied." Although Elder Shi had been here all this time, he must have heard that Wang Zhong was often challenged and bullied, so he reminded him. Wang Zhong said calmly, "I'm not talented. This can't be helped. I'm just looking at some books about monsters to increase my knowledge." "You really don't have a temper." Elder Shi was convinced by Wang Zhong's words. "The books about monsters are on the innermost shelf. There is a monster log. Many monsters are recorded in it. You can go and read it. It costs 2 contribution points for 2 hours. "Yes." Wang Zhong nodded and walked in. Although Elder Shi spoke bluntly just now, Wang Zhong knew that he was doing it for his own good. He accepted this favor, but he was afraid that it would be difficult to do so. Passing through rows of shelves, Wang Zhong came to the innermost monster book area. There weren't many books here. Some of the books recorded information about the monster area, and some recorded how to deal with some monsters. Wang Zhong read with great interest. Unknowingly, 2 hours passed. Finally, he found the monster logbook. The first picture was of a 5-clawed golden dragon. Below the picture was the introduction of the 5-clawed golden dragon. Then there was a phoenix, a giant horse, and the monsters at the back were often seen. Finally, Wang Zhong flipped to the fox demon. To his disappointment, the fox demon in the illustration was only a one-tailed fox demon. The introduction below was also the most common introduction. Shaking his head, Wang Zhong was a little helpless. After reading so many books, there was no content about the memory inheritance of monsters at all. But soon, Wang Zhong found a few more books. These books recorded some summaries of the strength of monsters and also introduced the benefits of monster cultivation. The only disadvantage of monsters was that they didn't have spiritual wisdom when they were young, so it caused their cultivation to be slow. But the advantage was that once their spiritual wisdom was unlocked and their cultivation reached a certain level, they could unlock the inheritance in the depths of their memory. Monsters with powerful bloodlines all had memory inheritance. Generally speaking, when they reached the nascent soul realm, their memory would be unlocked. But there were exceptions, and that was the powerful monsters, such as the dragon race and the phoenix race. These powerful monsters almost awakened their memory inheritance when they were born. Nascent soul realm. Seeing this, Wang Zhong understood a little. Although the fox bloodline was not as good as the dragon race and the phoenix race, it was also a good existence among the monster race. Therefore, he didn't need to reach the nascent soul realm. Just in the foundation establishment realm, he had already dreamed of those inheritances. As long as he worked hard to improve his strength, the inheritance in his memory would come sooner or later. At that time, the improvement of his strength was just around the corner. After reading the books here, Wang Zhong went out. Finished reading? Elder She took a sip of the wine pot in his hand and said with squinted eyes. Wang Zhong nodded honestly and said, "Yes, it's very good. It's a pity that it's useless for you. If you don't cultivate well, reading these extracurricular books is useless." Disciple understands, I'll go back and cultivate. Looking at Wang Zhong's back, Elder She's eyes lit up as he muttered, "Strange, strange. He's obviously been defeated every month, but he's never been injured. Could it be that he lost on purpose?" Wang Zhong didn't care about other people's speculations. After returning to the hut, he first went to the stream. He dug a small ditch on the side of the stream and put some sesame oil in the ditch. At this moment, there were dozens of small fish in the ditch that smelled the fragrance. Wang Zhong blocked the ditch, connecting the small ditch to the stream with a wooden board so that the fish that swam in couldn't escape. Today's staple food was roasted fish soup. When he killed a fish to cook rice, he found that there was no rice in the rice tank. Wang Zhong had no choice but to find a few copper coins and then go down the mountain to buy things. As long as disciples reported when they went down the mountain, they could go down the mountain. The premise was that they had to finish their work today and come back before dark. Today, the martial arts field was cleaned, so leaving here wasn't a problem. At the foot of the mountain was the outskirts of the border town. It wasn't very prosperous, but there were many shops along the street. There were quite a lot of villagers nearby. "Boss, give me 10 kilograms of rice." Wang Zhong came to a rice shop that he frequented. The shop owner was a good person. Seeing that he was young and didn't have much money, the price he gave him was not expensive. Seeing Wang Zhong, the shop owner who was packing the bags of rice smiled and said, "Zhongshan disciple is here again. How much rice do you want to buy today?" "Give me 10 kilograms. Okay." After buying the rice, Wang Zhong prepared to buy some oil and salt for cooking. After walking a few steps out of the door, he saw two strong men suddenly in front of an egg stall. The two strong men overbearingly stepped on a few eggs and looked arrogant. The egg seller was an auntie. Looking at her clothes, it was obvious that her family wasn't very well off. After being scared like this, she was so anxious that tears almost fell out. "You! What are you doing?" The auntie cried and shouted, "This is my family's eggs for a month. You have to compensate me for my eggs. You are blocking our way, do you know that?" The strong man sneered. The other strong man also shouted, "You are lucky that we didn't make you compensate us for our losses. What, do you want to make trouble for us?" Obviously, they were deliberately looking for trouble. For a moment, many people surrounded them. Although they were indignant about what happened to the auntie, no one dared to speak up. Wang Zhong was a little curious. These two people walked straight from the intersection. It was obvious that they were deliberately bullying the auntie. He didn't know why they did this. You are actually like this. I want to report this to the authorities." The auntie pulled one of the strong men and didn't let him go. The strong man suddenly grabbed the auntie's collar and shouted coldly, "What, do you want to fight?" Everyone was very indignant. They wanted to rush over and stand up for the auntie. However, after looking at the two strong men's bodies, they didn't dare to do so. Although there were many cultivators in this world, cultivators usually didn't come out of the secular world. Even if they did, they were people with low strength. The two strong men in front of them were not only strong, but they were also obviously martial artists. Without confidence, no one dared to go up. Wang Zhong naturally didn't want to go up. It wasn't that he was afraid, but the rule of survival that he had set for himself was to stay low. Another reason was that he felt that this matter wasn't so simple. The two strong men had no grudges with the auntie, but they came to find trouble for no reason. It was obvious that they came with a purpose. Therefore, he wanted to see what their purpose was. At this moment, a young man in white suddenly walked out of the crowd. "You are bullying an unarmed madam in broad daylight. Do you have any shame?" The young man in white's voice was very loud. He continued with a look of righteous indignation, "Apologize to me right now. Otherwise, I, Zhou Yunqiu, will teach you a lesson." "Zhou Yunqiu?" The two strong men looked at each other. "Little brother, don't you think you are too meddlesome?" "Haha, so what if I am?" Chapter 439. The two brawny men saw that the young man in white did not come with good intentions, and their faces turned serious. Wang Zhong rubbed his chin and seemed to understand something. The two brawny men were deliberately looking for trouble, and the young man in white happened to appear at this time. There were indeed such coincidences in the world, but today's matter was not only coincidental, but also had an element of acting in it. This kind of drama was usually called a hero saving a beauty, but today it was a hero saving an auntie. Wang Zhong looked at the auntie carefully. Yes, she was indeed somewhat beautiful and charming, but the age difference between her and the young man in white was too big. "Little brother, who are you?" "Haha, you haven't heard of Zhou Yunqiu? You should know the senior brother of the Zhongshan sect, right?" Zhou Yunqiu shouted. "You're from the Zhongshan sect?" The two men's faces changed. Although the Zhongshan sect was not a big sect now, it was still quite influential because it was close to here. "Yes." Zhou Yunqiu chuckled. "Apologize to me immediately and compensate me with the eggs, or I'll teach you a lesson." The two men seemed to be very afraid of him and quickly lowered their heads to apologize. "Sorry, auntie, we were wrong." "That's right, we were wrong. You're a great person, so please forgive us." The auntie selling eggs clearly did not expect this to happen. Facing the two men's apology, she was very grateful to Zhou Yunqiu. At this time, Zhou Yunqiu took the money from the two men and solemnly handed it to the auntie selling eggs. "Auntie, take this money." "This?" The auntie hesitated, but still took it. "Mom, what's wrong?" A young girl squeezed through the crowd. This young girl was naturally Egg Auntie's daughter. She was slender and elegant and looked to be around 15 years old. Her face was very delicate and pretty. Seeing the girl come over, Zhou Yunqiu exclaimed, "Little Qing, you're here too." "Hey, senior brother Zhou." Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. He knew this girl. She was a female disciple of the outer sect. He had seen her from afar before, but did not pay much attention to her. "Senior brother Zhou, why are you here?" the girl asked. Zhou Yunqiu said proudly, "This time, I went down the mountain to buy some things. When I was passing by, I happened to see these two thieves bullying someone. I couldn't stand it, so I intervened. Little Qing, it's all thanks to your senior brother Zhou. If it wasn't for him, these people would have hit me and even broken all of my eggs." The egg auntie held her daughter's hand and began to tell her story. Then, the woman went to Zhou Yunqiu and said gratefully, thank you so much." It's fine. I didn't expect that I would save my junior sister by accident." Ha ha ha. Although Zhou Yunqiu said it modestly, he could not hide his pride. Seeing this, Wang Zhong finally understood. It was very likely that Zhou Yunqiu had purposely sent people over to cause trouble, and then she would be the hero to save the auntie. Coincidentally, she would meet junior sister Xiaoqing when she returned. There was no need to guess what happened next. Little Qing was extremely grateful to Zhou Yunqiu and thought that Zhou Yunqiu was a good person. When the time came, Zhou Yunqiu would only need to use a little force to push little Qing down. Haha, there are still people who use this trick. The key was that little Qing believed him and said excitedly, "Thank you for your help, senior brother Zhou." "It's no problem." Zhou Yunqiu was proud. "Senior brother Zhou, we'll leave then," a burly man said fearfully. Zhou Yunqiu was about to speak when little Qing shouted, "You can't leave. How can you leave after bullying someone? This matter has to be reported to the authorities." This. Zhou Yunqiu was a little confused. He had a crush on Yang Shaoqing for a long time, but unfortunately, he never had a chance to talk to her in the sect, so he came up with this idea. He found out that Yang Shaoqing's mother was setting up a stall here, and he also found out that Yang Shaoqing would go down the mountain to look for her mother today. Therefore, he found 2 hooligans in advance, gave them some benefits, and asked them to cause trouble. After saving Yang Shaoqing's mother, Yang Shaoqing happened to come over and see it. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It was perfect. However, he underestimated Yang Shaoqing's determination to punish the hooligans. He did not expect that Yang Shaoqing would report it to the authorities after the matter was over. If he really reported it to the authorities, the 2 troublemakers would definitely not agree. When the time came, it would be troublesome. "No, don't report it to the authorities. We know we were wrong." The 2 brawny men naturally begged for mercy immediately. They were quite loyal to the contract. Unless it was absolutely necessary, they did not want to tell the truth. "Let's forget about it. It didn't get out of hand anyway," said Zhou Yunqiu. Yang Shaoqing said stubbornly, "If it weren't for you today, wouldn't my mother have been bullied very badly? Or should I say, what if they bully others next time? This time they must be punished." Wang Zhong found it a little funny. At this moment, there was a trace of panic in Zhou Yunqiu's eyes. He gritted his teeth and persuaded, "What if the 2 of them come back for revenge?" "Senior brother Zhou, I'm worried that they will harm others, so I have to report it to the authorities." As Yang Shaoqing spoke, she looked around and happened to see Wang Zhong, who was watching the show. Her eyes lit up and she said, "Junior brother." Yang Shaoqing had seen Wang Zhong in the sect before, although she did not know his name. "Junior brother, come here for a moment." Yang Shaoqing continued to wave at Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong was a little confused. He was just watching the show. Why was she looking for him? At this moment, everyone was looking at him. Wang Zhong had no choice but to bite the bullet and go over. "Senior sister, what a coincidence." Yang Shaoqing rolled her eyes at Wang Zhong and secretly cursed in her heart. First of all, his character was not as good as senior brother Zhou Yunqiu's. He saw her mother being bullied, but he didn't know how to do anything. However, everyone had their own ambitions. She could not stand on the moral high ground and criticize Wang Zhong because of this. Therefore, she said, "You are also a disciple of our Zhongshan sect. Let me ask you, should we report it to the authorities?" Cough, cough, cough. Zhou Yunqiu coughed a few times and deliberately said, "This matter didn't cause any big trouble, so let's forget it. But I think they should be punished." Yang Shaoqing looked at Zhou Yunqiu strangely, feeling that he was suddenly strange. Zhou Yunqiu said to Wang Zhong, "What do you think?" "Think carefully. Don't be wrong." Others might not be able to tell, but Wang Zhong did. Zhou Yunqiu wanted him to go along with what she said. Wang Zhong thought for a moment and then smiled at Zhou Yunqiu. Senior brother Zhou's intention is to give these 2 people a chance. However, I think that sometimes we can't be too lenient on bad people. It's better to report it to the authorities. Although Wang Zhong did not want to cause any trouble, he knew that his words would easily make Zhou Yunqiu unhappy. However, not wanting to cause trouble did not mean that he was afraid of it. He couldn't go against his conscience and lie. Zhou Yunqiu was slightly stunned and said unhappily, "What does a new disciple like you know? If you have the ability, why don't you just do it?" Wang Zhong said unhurriedly, "Senior brother Zhou, why are you so angry? Is there something you can't say? Or do you know these 2 brothers?" Zhou Yunqiu's expression changed. Yang Shaoqing was also stunned. Then, She looked at Zhou Yunqiu curiously. Haha, what a joke. Since you want to report it to the authorities, then report it to the authorities. Zhou Yunqiu gritted his teeth and shouted. What? The two burly men's expressions changed. Although their case was not serious, they would be beaten with sticks if they were caught like this. Zhou Yunqiu rolled her eyes. Suddenly, she pointed at the two burly men and shouted, Since my junior sister has said so, I'll execute you on the spot and send you to the authorities. After saying that, she rushed over. When the two burly men saw this, they immediately wanted to say something. However, after Zhou Yunqiu went over, she gave them a look. The two men immediately understood and punched at her. Zhou Yunqiu pretended that she was no match for them. She retreated quickly and shouted, Don't run. It would be strange if the two men did not run. They turned around and rushed out. Zhou Yunqiu chased after them for a few steps and said deliberately, I didn't expect them to run away. Yang Shaoqing wanted to continue chasing, but she was stopped by Zhou Yunqiu. Don't chase a cornered enemy. Don't chase a cornered enemy. Senior brother Zhou, you. Why didn't you chase after them? These two men are not weak. If they have helpers, it will be very troublesome. But we let them run away just like that. There's no other way. But looking at them, I don't think they will do anything bad in the future. Zhou Yunqiu touched her nose and said against her heart. Shaoqing, let's forget about this, the egg auntie said. All right then. Yang Shaoqing was helpless. At this moment, she wanted to thank Wang Zhong for speaking up for her. However, when she turned her head, she saw that Wang Zhong had already disappeared into the crowd. That guy ran quite fast, Yang Shaoqing said, speechless. Junior sister Shaoqing. Zhou Yunqiu walked over and said, What are you looking at? Oh, that junior brother just now disappeared in the blink of an eye. Junior sister, you know him? Zhou Yunqiu asked in surprise. I don't know him either. He's a miscellaneous disciple. He usually sweeps the training ground. I thought he spoke up for me just now, so I thanked him. I didn't expect him to disappear in the blink of an eye. After saying that, Yang Shaoqing muttered, That person is really strange. He is indeed strange and very rude. He didn't even say hello and left on his own, Zhou Yunqiu said deliberately. While the two of them were talking, Wang Zhong had already arrived at the foot of the Zhongshan sect. As he walked, he sighed inwardly. Fortunately, he left quickly. Otherwise, Zhou Yunqiu might have found trouble with him. After returning to his residence, Wang Zhong washed the rice and cooked. The day passed peacefully. At night, Wang Zhong ate dinner and continued to cultivate. Although he couldn't cultivate, Wang Zhong could feel his Yao core being tempered by absorbing the spiritual qi in the air. After getting into a fighting stance, Wang Zhong began to fight in the open space in front of him. This was his compulsory practice every night. After cultivating for a short while, Wang Zhong felt that something was wrong. His punches and kicks today seemed to be much stronger. The Yao energy in his body no longer entered his Yao core. Instead, it surged toward his limbs and bones. After surging for a while, the Yao energy rushed into his tail. It's so hot. Wang Zhong couldn't help but shake his tail. He was a little surprised and didn't understand why this was happening. The power of the 9 tails. Suddenly, a voice that seemed to come from ancient times sounded in his ears. Inheritance. Wang Zhong froze on the spot. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? However, at that moment, a clear female voice sounded. Chapter 440. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? The voice was getting closer and closer. Wang Zhong frowned. He finally had the feeling of receiving an inheritance, but he didn't expect someone to appear at the crucial moment. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong put away his foxtail and temporarily suppressed the feeling in his body. What's the matter? Wang Zhong asked while cleaning up the fish soup at the door. Are you cooking here? The person who came was Yang Shaoqing. Wang Zhong didn't turn his head and said, "Yeah, the food in the cafeteria isn't that good." Yang Xiaoqing walked over and smelled the smell. "It really smells good. It seems your cooking skills are good. How did you find me here? Why did you come to the residence of a miscellaneous disciple?" Wang Zhong scooped a big bowl of fish soup for himself and asked. In fact, he didn't like to deal with other people here, but since the other party had found him, he had to ask clearly. "I asked the Foreign Affairs elder and found out that you live here. Why, are you unhappy that I'm here?" Yang Xiaoqing looked at Wang Zhong strangely. She felt that Wang Zhong was strange. Wang Zhong shook his head slightly and didn't respond. "Okay, I really have to hand it to you. You didn't say anything for half a day. No wonder you don't even have a friend here." Yang Xiaoqing's tone was a bit helpless as she continued, "I came here to ask you something. Today at the market, why did you say that senior brother Zhou had something that he couldn't say? Did you mean that senior brother Zhou and the two troublemakers knew each other?" Wang Zhong glanced at Yang Xiaoqing and said calmly, "I don't know." Why are you like this? I asked you some questions. We're all from the same sect, so what's so hard to say? Senior brother Zhou won't harm you. Why do you have to ask so clearly?" Wang Zhong couldn't figure out why she came here in the middle of the night to ask this. This woman was too serious. "I'm just curious. If senior brother Zhou really knows those two people, then it means that senior brother Zhou is a bad person." Wang Zhong helplessly shook his head and said, "Someone is trying to be a hero and save a beauty." A hero saving a beauty. At this moment, no matter how foolish Yang Xiaoqing was, she understood the twists and turns in the story. "So that's what happened. I understand." Yang Xiaoqing nodded. "Well, I hope you don't talk nonsense." "I don't want to get into any trouble," Wang Zhong said. "Why are you so cowardly?" To be honest, Yang Xiaoqing looked down on Wang Zhong. But thinking that Wang Zhong was just an ordinary miscellaneous disciple, she was relieved. "Don't worry. I won't tell Zhou Yunqiu." Yang Xiaoqing was about to leave when she was attracted by the fresh fish soup in Wang Zhong's bowl. Rumble. Yang Xiaoqing's stomach suddenly growled. She didn't feel embarrassed and asked, "This looks delicious." How could Wang Zhong not see that Yang Xiaoqing wanted to freeload? Unfortunately, he didn't want to have anything to do with this woman, so he pretended not to see her and drank by himself. Yang Xiaoqing curled her lips and stood up. "I'm leaving. Take care." Wang Zhong didn't even turn his head. "It's too boring. No wonder he can only be a miscellaneous disciple. Serves him right," Yang Xiaoqing muttered. After she left, she didn't see a disciple come out of the forest. If Yang Xiaoqing saw him, she would be surprised to find that this disciple often followed Zhou Yunqiu. "What, you really saw Yang Xiaoqing go to that miscellaneous disciple?" Hearing what her friend said, Zhou Yunqiu's expression changed greatly. "Yes, that miscellaneous disciple seems to be called Tuesday. He doesn't even have a surname. I heard that he's an orphan and is very weak." The disciple who spoke was called Zhang Dekai. He happened to be wandering around that night and accidentally saw Yang Xiaoqing walking in a hurry. As Zhou Yunqiu's brother, he naturally knew that Zhou Yunqiu liked Yang Xiaoqing. Since he had nothing to do, he followed. Sure enough, he found big news. Yang Xiaoqing had a secret meeting with a miscellaneous disciple in the middle of the night. "Damn it! It's that too." Zhou Yunqiu immediately thought of what happened at the market today. After going back, she asked around and found out that the miscellaneous disciple who swept the floor was called Tuesday. "I'll teach him a lesson." Zhou Yunqiu shouted angrily. "Achoo!" Wang Zhong sneezed and muttered, "Who's calling me?" After muttering, Wang Zhong shook his head and immediately went back to the previous feeling. The feeling was still there. The demonic aura in his body circulated in his meridians again and gradually became clearer. The tingling sensation on his tail attacked him again. The power of the 9 tails, the inheritance of the Fox clan. The more tails there are, the stronger the strength. A warm and numb feeling surged wildly in his mind. Wang Zhong was a little stunned. Sure enough, this memory was the inheritance of the Fox clan. The memory was very large and described the inheritance left behind by the most ancient ancestor of the Fox clan, the nine-tailed fox. First, it condensed the demonic core, then the second tail, the third tail, the fourth tail, until the ninth tail. Once the 9 tails appeared, who would dare to fight? Who would dare to provoke it? Just looking at this memory inheritance, Wang Zhong felt a sense of pride in his heart. The memory dissipated, but the inheritance was deeply engraved in his mind. Opening his eyes, Wang Zhong understood everything. If he wanted to become stronger, he had to cultivate the power of the 9 tails. According to the inheritance, the Fox clan was also differentiated by talent. The stronger the talent, the faster the cultivation of the tails. On the other hand, the cultivation of the tails would be slower. Many low-level fox demons would only have 1 tail in their entire life. Since ancient times, although the 9-tailed fox demon had appeared, there were very few 9-tailed foxes with that kind of talent. Most of them would be thankful if they could cultivate the power of 5 tails. I wonder how many tails I have. Wang Zhong swung his furry tail and muttered. He had been cultivating in his dream for almost the entire night. As the dream continued, Wang Zhong realized that he was no longer dreaming about demon foxes. Instead, a golden color appeared. The originally dark night sky seemed to be filled with gold. Bestial roars resounded in his ears. As the roars continued, a surge of hot blood started to surge in his chest. The surge of hot blood became more and more intense. Wang Zhong really wanted to wake up, but he felt that he couldn't open his eyes. The next day, Wang Zhong finally woke up from his cultivation. Phew! Exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Wang Zhong was stunned. His body was emitting a foul stench, and the surface of his originally white skin was also pitch black. My skin. After taking a closer look, Wang Zhong was relieved. It was not his skin that had a problem, but some black impurities had seeped out of his skin. After returning to his fox form, Wang Zhong trotted to the side of the stream and jumped in. The stream washed away the foul smell on his body. After coming out, his fur returned to its previous softness and beauty. Shaking off the water droplets on his body, Wang Zhong returned to the house, changed into his human form, put on his clothes, and prepared breakfast. While eating, Wang Zhong recalled the dream from last night. That dream was a little different from the 9-tailed fox's dream. What he heard was another bestial roar, as if it was saying something to him. With a thought, the words from last night seemed to appear again. This time, the words were clearer. The power of bloodline, the body of steel. The words were very long, like some kind of inheritance. After the voice disappeared, these words seemed to be branded in his mind. I'm afraid this inheritance is not simple. Wang Zhong focused. In the past, he thought that he was not an ordinary monster. This was because no matter what he cultivated, even if he cultivated human cultivation techniques, he could learn them. He was already different from ordinary monsters. Now, in addition to the 9-tailed fox's inheritance, there was another inheritance. This inheritance seemed to be related to the body. Finally, above these words, 2 golden words gradually appeared. Tyrant Dragon Physique. These 3 simple words gave people a suppressive power on the bloodline. Wang Zhong understood a little. This Tyrant Dragon Physique was not a cultivation method, but a kind of physique. Why is there another Tyrant Dragon Physique? Wang Zhong did not know how this physique came about, but he felt that if he followed the cultivation method in this inheritance, his body would no longer be so weak. He could even feel that the strength of the Tyrant Dragon Physique was definitely stronger than that of the 9-tailed fox. What the F***ck am I? Wang Zhong could not help but complain. Before coming to this world, he sympathized with the original owner, R2. As a little fox demon, he struggled to live and finally died of old age alone. At that time, he thought that the original owner, R2, must be very poor. But now, it seemed that he was not bad at all. Now that he thought about it, the reason why the original owner, R2, had such a bad life was probably because he lived in Stone Village. He spent a lot of time with the dogs and lived like a pet. He probably even thought that he was a dog. Even though he might have cultivated desperately, without systematic learning, it was not enough no matter how good his talent was. After eating, Wang Zhong practiced for a while at the door of the hut. He felt that after the words of the tyrant dragon physique appeared last night, his body was faintly different from before. That was, it had become harder. The muscles and bones all over his body seemed to have been greatly sublimated. Aware of this, he walked to the side of a tree. With a thought, he slapped the tree. Rumble. The tree, which was as thick as a thigh, was abruptly broken. This, the extremely shocking scene in front of him made Wang Zhong a little dumbfounded. Now, his punch was actually so simple. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly looked around. Fortunately, because his place was remote, there was no one around at all. Wang Zhong clenched his fists. He knew that his strength had probably reached a new level. Perhaps his mother was only at the peak of the foundation establishment stage, but against someone at the nascent soul stage, it would be easy for her to deal with them. After resting for a while, Wang Zhong cleaned up the broken trees and turned them all into firewood. Then, he took a broom and went to the training field. His work for the day began again. After just a few steps, the demon core in his mind suddenly spun at high speed, followed by a surge of memories. Chapter 441. Here comes the inheritance of memories again. Wang Zhong stopped where he was and thought of something. This memory was not a transformation of his body, but an auxiliary method for cultivation. The Tyrannosaurus constitution needed a long time to temper the body, so it needed the spiritual liquid to transform it. The spiritual liquid needed to be bought, boiled in warm water, and then soaked in it. It was easy to say but difficult to do, because all of these herbs were extremely precious, and some of them could not be bought with silver. They had to be bought with jade. This discovery disappointed Wang Zhong a little. But no matter what, he still memorized the herbs he needed one by one. There were a total of 4 kinds. 2 of them were not expensive and were easy to get, one was expensive, and the other was not much but the price was higher. Wang Zhong guessed that the sect must have these things, but the price was conceivable. With his current status, he could not afford them at all. At this time, Wang Zhong thought of going to the mountains to pick herbs. With his strength, there was absolutely no problem going into the mountains now. He just needed to figure out some routes before going in, or simply hire a guide. Atu. While he was thinking, a disciple ran over. Wang Zhong hurriedly walked over when he saw who it was. Atu, the disciples are all in the training field. Why aren't you working? Oh no, I took too long to absorb the memories and forgot the time. Sorry. Senior brother. I overslept. I'll be right there, Wang Zhong replied apologetically. Go quickly. I've asked a junior brother to replace you temporarily. You can still make it if you go now. This sect was quite humane. Wang Zhong felt warm in his heart and thanked him repeatedly. After he went over, he began to sweep the ground. But after a while, Zhou Yunqiu and a few friends looked at him strangely and walked over. These people were obviously up to no good. They were eating melon seeds as they walked. Not only were they eating melon seeds, but they were also deliberately throwing them here and there. After a while, these 5 or 6 people threw melon seeds all over the ground. What are you doing? Why don't you sweep the leaves over there? Also, clean up the melon seeds on the ground. These people had been spitting out melon seeds for a while, but Wang Zhong was still sweeping the floor quietly. Zhou Yunqiu, who wanted to cause trouble for Wang Zhong, felt like she had punched the air. Therefore, he had no choice but to take the initiative to attack and cause trouble for Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong cast a sidelong glance at Zhou Yunqiu and said calmly, I know. I'll sweep it right away. Wasn't this attitude a little too polite? Zhou Yunqiu and her friends looked at each other. One of his friends threw the melon seeds back to where Wang Zhong had just swept the floor and shouted, Here too. Wang Zhong frowned slightly, then relaxed and said, "Why don't I wait for you to finish eating the melon seeds before sweeping the floor? As your senior brother, I have the right to supervise you," Zhou Yunqiu said bluntly. "Senior brother Zhou, I don't know how I offended you. Or do you think I disturbed your chivalry yesterday?" Wang Zhong said lightly. "Because you got close to someone you shouldn't get close to. Do you understand?" Zhou Yunqiu leaned over and said proudly, "Do you know your mistake? Please enlighten me." Wang Zhong thought for a long time, but he still couldn't figure out who he had gotten close to. Logically speaking, Zhou Yunqiu shouldn't be so narrow-minded as to cause trouble for him because of yesterday's incident. "You're still playing dumb." Zhou Yunqiu snorted. "It's not too late to apologize in your heart. In the future, behave yourself with your tail between your legs, or be my follower. I, Zhou Yunqiu, will be magnanimous and let you go." Wang Zhong sighed softly. He could tolerate, but it didn't mean that he could admit defeat without a limit. He still had the pride of a fox. Therefore, in the face of Zhou Yunqiu's unreasonable request, Wang Zhong immediately shook his head and said, "I'm sorry. I'm not playing dumb, and I won't behave myself with my tail between my legs. If there's nothing else, please leave. I still have to sweep the floor. If you disturb me again, I'll tell the elders." "Oh, you still want to complain?" Zhou Yunqiu sneered. The people around him also sneered. "If you dare to complain, I'll teach you a lesson. Your hut is by the stream, right? Be careful not to tear it down." Naturally, these people were threatening him. Wang Zhong glanced at them coldly and said, "Do as you wish. However, according to the sect rules, if you do that, as long as I tell the elders, they'll definitely punish you. In serious cases, they'll even expel you from the sect." Their expressions changed. They wanted to scare Wang Zhong, but they didn't expect Wang Zhong's reply to be so reasonable. He wasn't afraid of them at all. "Do you know who my sister is? Do you think the sect will expel me because of you?" Zhou Yunqiu said angrily. "If you can use this as a threat, it means that you're afraid." Wang Zhong shook his head. "And you're a man. How can you use your sister as a shield? You've really opened my eyes." "You?" Zhou Yunqiu felt even more uncomfortable. She felt as if her mouth had been stuffed with feces. "Senior brother Zhou, there's no need to talk nonsense with him. I'm still in the Qi refinement realm. I want to challenge him." "Yes, I want to challenge him too." Zhou Yunqiu's heart skipped a beat. "Yes, we want to challenge you. I'm sorry, but I've already been challenged this month," Wang Zhong said. "Well, as long as you're here, we'll challenge you every month." Ha ha ha. They were extremely proud and continued to eat sunflower seeds. How can these people be like this? Yeah, that miscellaneous disciple is so pitiful. He's already the lowest disciple, but he's still being bullied. That disciple's name is Tu, right? Tu, the one who bullied him is called Zhou Yunqiu. He's the younger brother of senior sister Zhou Yunxia. Ah, no wonder they look so alike. I didn't expect senior sister Zhou Yunxia to be such a good person, but her younger brother is so evil. Isn't that so? The incident naturally attracted the attention of some disciples. Many people began to whisper. Unfortunately, although many people sympathized with Wang Zhong, none of them came to help. After all, he was just a miscellaneous disciple. Who would pay attention to him? After that, Zhou Yunqiu and the others left after eating sunflower seeds. Before they left, they even threatened to come back tomorrow to eat sunflower seeds. After sweeping the ground, Wang Zhong went back. He didn't care about Zhou Yunqiu and the others because he had more important things to do. He was going to pack his things and go to the elder in charge of foreign affairs to ask about going to Zhongshan Forest. Zhongshan Forest was located at the edge of the Zhongshan sect. The forest was much larger than the forest beside Stone Village. It was said that there were many medicinal herbs growing in the depths of the forest where the spiritual energy was rich. Therefore, Wang Zhong planned to go there. When he came to the elder in charge of foreign affairs and heard that Wang Zhong wanted to go to Zhongshan Forest, the elder said earnestly. What are you thinking? You're so weak. You'll die if you go there. Elder, I'm only at the periphery, and I'm going there with my friends. Wang Zhong explained patiently. In fact, he didn't have any friends. He said this to reassure the elder in charge of foreign affairs. Okay, but you have to bring your friends here and let me take a look. Only then can I let you in. Thank you, elder. Wang Zhong was a little helpless. It was so troublesome to go to the forest. If that was the case, he had to find a few people to go with him. He left. As soon as he arrived at his residence, he saw a few women standing in front of his house. These women were quite beautiful. He had seen the leader before. She seemed to be the senior sister here, called Zhou Yunxia. What are they doing here? Wang Zhong frowned and walked over. Senior sister, this miscellaneous disciple is quite capable. I remember that this place used to be the residence of another miscellaneous disciple. It seems that because the living conditions were too bad, he lost his Tao heart and went down the mountain. I didn't expect this miscellaneous disciple called A2 to take care of it so well. Wang Zhong hadn't gone over yet when a female disciple said in a clear voice. Yes, the small wooden house next to it looks newly built. He's too capable. Look, there's dried fish at the door. My God, the food is quite rich. There's prawns in the house and some wild vegetables and fruits. Teske. This is the most capable miscellaneous disciple I've seen. Another female disciple said. She picked up the dried fish and sniffed it. It smelled very good. It smelled like dahai. What are you doing here? Wang Zhong walked over at this time and nodded slightly to Zhou Yunxia. Senior sister Zhou. Junior brother, you're here. Zhou Yunxia turned around and directly said the purpose of her visit. I know what my brother did to you today. Your brother? Wang Zhong thought for a moment and said, Zhou Yunxiu is your brother? Yes. Well, if you want to speak up for him, then forget it. I still don't know why he's causing trouble for me. If you want to cause trouble for me, although I'm just a miscellaneous disciple, I'll tell the elders what you did. You misunderstood. Zhou Yunxia shook her head helplessly. I'm here this time to sincerely apologize to you. Oh. My brother has been spoiled by my parents since he was young. He doesn't know the consequences of his actions. I'm very sorry about what he did to you. I'll never let him do it again, Zhou Yunxia said. Wang Zhong nodded slightly. It's fine. Junior brother, don't worry. Senior sister is a very good person. Senior brother Zhou Yunxiu will definitely not cause trouble for you in the future. A female disciple who was touching dried fish walked over. Speaking of which, where did you go just now? There's quite a lot of food hanging at the door. Wang Zhong said, I just went to the external affairs elder to report that I wanted to go to Zhongshan Forest, but he didn't let me go. He said that I'm too weak unless I can go with someone. Let's go together. Zhou Yunxia immediately smiled and said, We're also planning to go to Zhongshan Forest. My brother bullied you, so I'll take you with me this time as an apology. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. This senior sister Zhou was quite a good person. She didn't bully them because of her high status. No wonder she had so many fans and even more male disciples who liked her. Wang Zhong agreed immediately. It couldn't be better with these people leading the way. Chapter 442. Early the next morning, Wang Zhong packed up his things and went to the gate of the sect. In addition to Zhou Yunxiu and the 4 senior sisters from yesterday, there were 3 more male disciples waiting there. These people were going to enter the Zhongshan Forest together. The 3 male disciples were all inner disciples. Wang Zhong knew the leader, Qiu Renji, who was one of the more senior inner disciples. Isn't this the junior brother who usually sweeps the floor of the martial arts field? Is he going with us? Qiu Renji looked at Zhou Yunxia and was a little confused. Although the Zhongshan Forest was not very dangerous, it was not a place where a miscellaneous disciple could enter and leave at will. It was very troublesome to let Wang Zhong follow them. This junior brother wants to go into the mountain to pick herbs, so I let him follow us. Junior brother Qiu, don't worry, Zhou Yunxia said. Qiu Renji looked at Wang Zhong and said, Junior brother, when the time comes, follow us. Don't go too far, understand? I understand. Wang Zhong did not say anything. Then the group of people packed up and began to go down the mountain. Wang Zhong always walked at the back. Not only could he keep a low profile, but he was also in the safest position. He would not be the first to be targeted when there was danger. Zhou Yunxia and Qiu Renji walked at the front. Both of them were the strongest, so they were the most confident. In Wang Zhong's opinion, Zhou Yunxia should be stronger. After all, she was the eldest senior sister, and her aura was stronger. Qiu Renji's aura was domineering, but it did not mean that he was strong. Instead, it showed that he did not have perfect control of his aura. The other senior brothers and sisters also had their own strengths. They were all in the Foundation Establishment realm. He was the only one who seemed to be in the Qi Refinement realm. The Zhongshan forest was halfway up the mountain of the Zhongshan sect. It was more than 10 miles north. It was not far, but the road was difficult to walk. After more than 2 hours, the group arrived at the entrance of the forest. This place was inside the forest. The entrance was at the foot of the mountain. Usually, some hunters at the foot of the mountain would enter the mountain. Because it was inside the forest, there were many fierce beasts. The so-called fierce beasts were different from the demonic beasts. Fierce beasts were strong, but they did not have intelligence. They did everything by instinct. However, demonic beasts had intelligence. In a sense, the only difference between humans and demonic beasts was their bodies. After entering, the spirit qi here was indeed rich. Wang Zhong took a deep breath. He could feel the Yao core in his mind trembling with excitement. However, he also knew that the better the place, the greater the danger. Although he had some strength now, he couldn't stay in this place for too long just to be safe. More than an hour later, some of the disciples who came in began to search for what they needed. Although it was said that every disciple had the protection of the sect, what the sect provided was only basic protection. If they wanted to obtain more cultivation resources, they still had to search for them through their own efforts. Every disciple's cultivation method was different, so it was not strange that they each had their own cultivation materials. Junior brother, it'll be dangerous if you go any further. You can stay here. There's no need to go in, Qiu Renji said to Wang Zhong. Then, he recognized the path and continued, I think some of the materials I need are still inside. I'll go in first. Take care, senior brother, Wang Zhong said. At this moment, only Zhou Yunxia was left beside him. Zhou Yunxia looked like she also wanted to go in, but she was more responsible. Considering that Wang Zhong was here, she was worried that after she went in, Wang Zhong would be taken away by something. That would be troublesome. Seeing that Zhou Yunxia wanted to go in, Wang Zhong smiled and said, Senior Sister Zhou, don't worry about me. If you want to go in, you can go in. Okay, junior brother, wait here. I'll be back soon. It's okay. Before Zhou Yunxia left, she gave Wang Zhong a short sword to protect himself before leaving. What a good senior sister. Wang Zhong sighed in his heart. He looked around, thinking that it was about time for him to leave this place. Moving his body, Wang Zhong ran in a direction where no one had gone before. He didn't transform into his fox form. This state was a bit troublesome. Although he could transform his body, it was inconvenient for him to salute with his clothes. Moreover, when he transformed from a fox into a human, he didn't have any clothes on his body. It was very inelegant, so he walked in his human form, but it was slower in this state. Due to his sensitive sense of smell, Wang Zhong knew everything around him like the back of his hand. Half an hour later, Wang Zhong picked a lot of herbs, and even picked some herbs that he didn't need for the time being. Although he didn't need them for the time being and their grades weren't very high, the sect had a rule that if he brought back useful herbs, he could exchange them for contribution points. Finally, he was busy until the afternoon. After eating some dry food, Wang Zhong carried his bulging luggage and prepared to go back. But at this time, a faint smell of blood suddenly wafted into his nostrils. The smell was very faint. If he wasn't an old fox, he wouldn't be able to smell it at all. Is there something up ahead? Wang Zhong muttered and turned to run back the way he came. He just wanted to pick herbs and leave. He didn't want to worry about the outside world. While walking, Wang Zhong guessed in his heart that he didn't know where the smell of blood came from. Judging from the smell, it was a human. Zhou Yunxia was strong. If it was her smell, then it would definitely make a big movement. After all, her strength was there. It was very difficult to defeat her. As for Qiu Renji, he also had the power to fight. Then this smell should be from the other disciples. In his heart, he mourned for that disciple. At this moment, Wang Zhong had already arrived at the place where they separated. No one came back here. An ominous premonition arose. Suddenly, he saw Zhou Yunxia rushing out of the forest. At this moment, Zhou Yunxia was covered in blood and looked very embarrassed. Wang Zhong's face changed. Just as he was about to hide, he heard Zhou Yunxia's sharp voice. "Why are you still here? You didn't let me hide." Wang Zhong turned his head and said with a cold face, "If not here, then where should I be?" "Yu didn't tell you?" Yu was a small follower of Zhou Yunxia. Wang Zhong shook his head. "I haven't seen anyone since I entered the forest." "What's wrong?" "Oh no. You go, there are enemies coming to trouble you." Zhou Yunxia shouted anxiously. It seemed a little embarrassing to leave like this. He sensed that no one was chasing behind Zhou Yunxia, so he asked, "What's wrong?" "I can go back and call for support right away." "It's a bear." Zhou Yunxia gasped for breath and said with an ugly face, "Qiu Renji, that madman, the purpose of coming here this time is to hunt the bear and take the bear gall. The bear is one of the strongest fierce beasts in the forest, but the bear usually doesn't take the initiative to attack people. This time, Zhou Yunxia was like this, probably because Qiu Renji took the initiative to attack the bear." "What about the others?" Wang Zhong asked. "Qiu Renji attacked a bear. I didn't expect that it was just a cub. Now the cub's parents have arrived. I and the others encountered it before and barely retreated here. Unfortunately, I was separated from the others." "Then I'll go call for help." You go, I'm going to save the others," Zhou Yunxia said and took a pill. "If you go in now, I'm afraid it will be dangerous. It's better to retreat with me." Wang Zhong had a good impression of this senior sister. Not only was she upright, she also took care of her junior brothers and sisters. Naturally, he didn't want anything to happen to her. But Zhou Yunxia resolutely shook her head and said, "No, I'm the eldest senior sister, how can I run away alone?" Zhou Yunxia clenched her teeth and persevered, but the blood on her body had already soaked her clothes. "You go." After saying that, Zhou Yunxia suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and then fell to the ground powerlessly. At this time, Wang Zhong noticed that there were a few claw marks on Zhou Yunxia's back. "Senior sister Zhou, you're poisoned." Wang Zhong was shocked. Zhou Yunxia looked at Wang Zhong with lifeless eyes. "I didn't expect that the ape's claws were poisonous. Stop talking, I'll take you away." Although he didn't want to cause any trouble, it didn't mean that he didn't care about the consequences. Zhou Yunxia was a good person, so he would naturally save her. Sensing the aura in the depths of the forest, it seemed that a tyrannical beast was rushing over. Wang Zhong hurriedly carried Zhou Yunxia and left this place. Not long after, an ape rushed out. Smelling the residual smell of blood in the air, the ape let out a loud roar. This roar seemed to be reminding something, and the sound spread further and further. Soon, there was a response from the surroundings of the forest. Wang Zhong's eyes focused. According to the records of apes were social creatures. When the ape king encountered something, the other apes would help. "I'm afraid it's chasing after us." After walking a few steps, he suddenly saw a pool of blood on the ground. "No wonder there's a bloody smell around here. Wang Zhong's eyes lit up, and he said to the weak Zhou Yunxia, "You still want to find your juniors? I'm afraid they've already run out." Hearing this, Zhou Yunxia's strength increased a little. She raised her eyes and looked not far away. Sure enough, there were pools of blood on the ground, as well as the belongings of a few juniors who fell when they ran away in a panic. "So they ran out," Zhou Yunxia murmured. Wang Zhong didn't say anything, but he felt pity for Zhou Yunxia. She tried her best to enter the forest to save people, but the people she wanted to save had already left. Rustle, rustle, rustle. Footsteps came from the front, and Wang Zhong shouted, "Senior Zhou and I are out." The sound stopped, and Qiu Renji walked out from the bushes, followed by 2 other juniors. The 3 of them didn't seem to be in good condition, especially Qiu Renji, whose chest was full of blood. Behind the 3 of them were Zhou Yunxia's juniors. They didn't seem to be attacked, and they were in good condition. When they saw Zhou Yunxia, they ran over excitedly. "Senior Zhou, we finally found you." "Wu, what should we do now?" Qiu Renji said with a cold face. "Senior Zhou is injured and can't leave." "We can't leave with her. Too, right? Put her in the place where I was hiding. We'll return immediately and inform the elders about what happened here and let them save Senior Zhou." You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.